Right, we're going to get it this time. This is the Fair Enough City podcast, and it's presented by me, Denis, and my really good friend, Roger O'Sullivan.
This is the podcast all about the Irish soap opera Fair City, made for people who've never watched Fair City.
And it's watched by over 500,000 people in Ireland every episode.
Just to put that in perspective, that is 1/10 of the Irish population.
And twice the population of Iceland. So what we're going to do with this show, this podcast, is we're going to take each Fair City episode, blurpy, fucking blurp.
I actually think we write it down.
There was an email that went out when I was in college, and it said to beware of a guy going around in a pink dressing gown flashing people.
Really?
Yeah. They never caught me though.
When I was in college, somebody hacked into the email of one of the very old English lecturers and sent a message out saying that she was mad for the cock in the first person.
That's awful.
That is really awful, yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone was...
you didn't find it funny, did you?
I didn't find that funny.
Good. There's a geography lecturer in UCC, and he has the same name as me. And I got an email from a person saying, because when you go into college in UCC anyway, they'll give you a number as your student number, but there's an option where you can actually go and change your student number, and you can select the username.
Really?
Yeah. So you can d.len at whatever it is, UCC mail, I don't know what it is, but you can change that. So I went, I was going to change it. So I changed it to d.len at whatever, and then someone assumed that this geography lecturer's email was that. So, or else it might have been close to it or something. And so they emailed and they said, look, this is basically what I have studied for the summer exams. Here's an outline of it. Do you think I'll be covered?
I bet I know what you said.
What did I say?
You emailed back, yeah.
I emailed back and said they were covered. Not to worry about it.
No.
Yeah. But they emailed me afterwards and they said thanks for the pointers and that they did great and all this. So I was like, yeah, it's been a pleasure having you as a student.
I was correct.
Where are we this week? What episode number is this, Roger?
This is episode 10 of the podcast.
Number 10. Oh my God, that's two digits.
Yeah.
2 digits.
The old 10. If we were a person, we'd be old enough to have a Pokemon license.
I have this vivid memory, right? And I have no idea. Did you ever have memories that just stick in your head for no apparent reason, just take up space?
Yeah.
But I remember one of the first guys that I knew who turned 10 when I was 9. He was out in the shed, and someone goes, "Oh, you're 10." Yeah, like a school shed or whatever. It's like, "Oh, you're 10," and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm the big 10." And I remember I was 9, and I was like, "Oh my God, what's it going to be like when I'm 10?" And it was pretty much the same as when I was 9.
There was one person in my primary school who was 13 in 6th class. So normally, I think most other people were 12. And he made a big deal about how he was no longer hanging out with preteens. And he was like, I'm a teenager now. I'm 13. Get it?
Yeah, it's all about context though, isn't it? Like, say those at the wrong times. Mean completely
I actually had a
different things.
52-year-old friend who said he was going to stop hanging out with preteens as well, but I think it was court mandated.
It's good, isn't it? Only, 5 minutes in and we're already on paedophilia. That's great.
I didn't say what he was doing.
I can't even remember what I was saying.
You were asking me what week it was.
Oh yeah, no, it's episode 10. So welcome to the Fair Enough City podcast, episode 10. There's a lot of people listening now these days.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of listeners. We got one new follower during the week.
Really?
I think people are shy to follow for some reason.
You keep everything secret from me.
I do, because it adds to the surprise of it then.
The mystique.
Plus, if I gave you the statistics of it, you'd go full spreadsheet. And you'd just have no life anymore.
As far as I'm aware, that would happen. But as far as I know, these podcasts might not be going out at all. And Denis had just been recording them.
I just have a cardboard box that says Mike on it. And we're just sitting in a room full of egg packets.
Well, we actually have...
and there's eggs in them.
We have 2 tin cans that are connected to this big cardboard box in the middle of the room. And we stand either side of them and we shout into them.
What kind of Fair City news do we have this week?
Well, we have... not much. But
Not much?
We do have one bit of news that was sent in by my sister.
I thought you weren't allowed to mention her on the podcast anymore.
No, I don't want to because she's very irritating. But she's.
I think you're great, Sister Roger.
So that my friends actually, she used to always drive me everywhere when I was in secondary school, and my friends started calling her Sister Car, and then that became Carator, And there was a long running joke that they'd never seen her outside of the car, so she was half human, half car, and that my dad had copulated with the van, and she was the progeny.
I mean, it happens. You know, it happens.
Yeah, it does.
See a lot of van people walking around these days.
There's a lot of different types of families now.
My uncle was a high ace.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's your news?
must be hard for him. So the news was sent to me. It's a photograph of a physical magazine where they interviewed the actress that plays Carrie Ann. And I think this was from the TV Now.
And this definitely sticks to our ethos of not talking about the actors' personal lives.
Yeah, definitely. But they asked her, why does she think Carrie Ann wanted Aoife to go to the grave with her?
Yeah, so Carrie Ann killed Aoife's daughter and
Karen.
then wanted to get some reconciliation or something.
Yeah.
With the mother of the deceased daughter.
Yeah, so they asked her if the actress that portrayed Carrie Ann thought that it was just a way of making amends and acknowledging her guilt, but the actress felt that actually it was more to do with feng shui and creating balance in the universe.
Really?
Yeah. So she says here.
And you definitely don't think that that's talking about the actors?
No, not in a.
Well, like, what
way.
are you trying to get the audience to gain from that? Like, what are they meant to glean from those facts?
I just think it's interesting.
Is it in a negative light or a positive light?
No, it's like in the way that I'll
ask you the next question. Do you believe in kind of spiritual stuff like that, Roger?
I'm very spiritual myself.
Are you?
I'm a very spiritual man. I believe what goes around comes around. I believe in
big believer in roundabouts.
Oh, huge believer. You don't really. You usually take like an exit, don't you, on a roundabout?
Have you ever driven around a roundabout, like as in missed your exit and gone around, or have you ever done it deliberately?
No, I've never
doing it deliberately is
things.
like a sweet fresh or sweet breath of fresh air on a mountain.
Really?
It's like no one can tell me what to do. I'm going around again.
What signals do you put on if you're doing that?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Hazards.
Flash your lights. Open your boot. Just say nothing's going to stop me now.
That's great. I was trying to find some Fair City news.
I actually have one story.
Go on.
I'm running a gig there with Roger out in the Black Sheep Comedy Club in Ballincollig. It's a fantastic venue. It's out in the White Horse.
Yeah.
But
Brilliant gig there last night.
Brilliant gig there last night with Joe Rooney and Pat McDonald, and it was class. Packed out the house. But there's a rule in those venues that if you have more than 2 chairs, on the third chair you have to tie the chairs together. So those fold-out chairs that audience sit in, and so you have to tie them together with those tie straps. And there's a guy who goes to a lot of gigs out there, and he brings the scissors with him, and he chops the ties just so he can sit where he wants.
It's unbelievable. And I got a feel of some of these ties, and the funniest thing about them is they actually have a release mechanism.
Oh, they're reusable, yeah.
Yeah, so he could just click that and pull it off.
Not going to tell him that, though.
Yeah, of course not. There is one bit of news that I think will be... So I think it's worth alerting it now because it's going to come into play next week, but it probably won't affect the episodes that we just watched. But this is the 10th anniversary of our podcast, weekly anniversary.
All right, okay.
And it's actually the 29th.
It's very bad I couldn't connect the dots on what you're talking about there.
It's the 29th anniversary of Fair City, and that's yearly. So this is the 29th year of Fair City. And this coming week is apparently the one that we're going to watch next week and talk about in the podcast, episode 11, is the bumper episode to celebrate the anniversary.
So one of them that we watched this week is one of the bumper episodes?
No, one of the ones next week.
Oh, next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you have any idea what's going to happen? Can you tease some?
No, all I know is that people
Do you read spoilers?
I know I don't.
Do you go back and read clarifying info?
Sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes.
And do you do it then and pretend you haven't done it and then guess in the podcast and then it comes true but you've already read the spoilers? Or you know some background info?
I can't confirm or deny that.
Very good. All right, let's move on to episode 1, I think. I think it's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also want to tell the audience, right? I'm having a bottle of beer today. Right?
He's
having a bottle of beer.
Going crazy.
It's 5.7%.
Here.
I'm feeling pretty lightheaded, but don't give a fuck.
Do you want to plug the beer? You swore.
Oh, I did. But I'll get you on the technicalities. They also swore in Fair City this week.
Really?
Do you not? I mean a proper swear.
I didn't pick up on
Proper
Whoa,
swear.
I'm looking forward to that.
So I'm drinking, and we're not sponsored by these, but if you do want us to sell out, no problem
That's
at all.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm drinking Citra. It's brewed and bottled in Ireland, and it's the single hop IPA. It's very nice, 5.7%, and it's got a picture of a think that's it. Is that what's that guy? A kiwi?
Oh yeah, I think so.
And
flightless
a
bird.
reptile of some description.
And I think it's 8 Degrees Brewery, is it? Or
8 Degrees Brewery, yeah. Love those lads. Always love those lads. If you want to throw some money our ways, do what you need to do. Get us another mic,
He's Denis is loving it, and he's yet to develop a drinking problem. So
actually, had a comedian staying over the other night. Non-sexual.
God, you've a crazy life, don't you?
I know, yeah. It's just the way I roll. Like,
so exciting.
You should see me on the roundabouts, round and round. It was old Brian Gallagher, right? And he was staying over, and we had a few shandies. Not gonna lie. Watched Road Wars, and he bought a few beers and he left one in the fridge, and I'm drinking it. And I have to say, the free taste just tastes extra delicious. Extra delicious.
Do you remember when we were in Edinburgh and we got free Coke Zero vouchers?
Yeah.
And then we were drinking the Coke Zeros and we were like, I don't know if it's because it's free or what, but
probably the most delicious beverage I've ever had.
Yeah. It was
All right, episode 1. Get on to the lads in entertainment.ie.
Here we go, lads. Now
read us the description. Actually, we did it again. We did this every single week, where I ask you to read the description, and then I should have actually done something else.
Okay, go on.
Where we talk about where we left off last week, or the characters involved this week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So just off the top of your head, what are the characters involved this week, the main stories? There's a really, really lackadaisical story that runs through the whole week, and that's with Bob, Renee, Jackie, and Huey. It's. I liked it at some points. It's basically there's a big mix-up, and Renee and Jackie fall out, and Huey and Bob are their significant others, and then it goes back and forth, and they fall out, they make up, they fall out, they make up, but there's no stakes.
No, it was. I felt that it kind of was the drama
runner.
equivalent. Yeah, the drama equivalent of going round and round and roundabout, just over and over again.
Are we going to be making roundabout things all? Right,
this episode. I'm calling it. It's going to be the magic roundabout.
The magic roundabout. Do you know who loves the magic roundabout? Actually, it's Roombot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roombot.
Do you know what the real magic roundabout is? It's in I think Southampton, and it's the only roundabout in all of the UK that it goes instead of going clockwise, goes counterclockwise.
What?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I have no idea.
Does it go? I assume you end up on top of something at some stage.
Must be.
Like a good night out in Cork. Run back.
You once got on top of a bronze effigy of a ram, didn't you, in Derby?
I actually thought I was on top of a lion.
Really?
But I wasn't drunk and disorderly. Don't worry. I was about 10 when I turned the old 1-0.
Is that true?
Yeah, I wasn't a lout.
Because my housemate Thomas is from Derby, and he will always bring up the fact that you climbed on top of it.
Not this Thomas guy again.
Do
you ever stop on about him?
No.
Why don't you just do a podcast with him?
Except to his face. Counterclockwise, roundabout. So I'm not finding anything about this.
To be honest, right, if you can explain how a counterclockwise roundabout works to listeners without any imagery, it's probably going to be top 5 achievements of your life.
Yeah. No.
No?
It has 7. It's a 7-circle roundabout.
7-circle roundabout.
Yeah.
Right. To be honest, right, translates into absolutely nothing for me.
So what? There's a central roundabout.
All right, you got your standard roundabout in the middle.
It's in Swindon, yeah.
It's in Swindon.
It's in Swindon.
All right, Grant. It has to be in Swindon.
It has to be in Swindon. There is a central Jesus, this is giving me heart attacks. There's one central roundabout.
That doesn't look like a roundabout. It just looks like some road planner's lost his mind.
So there's a central roundabout. This is how it happens. There's a central roundabout.
All right.
And
green circle in the middle.
Yeah, and if you're coming on, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different roads. Oh wait, no, there's not actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different roads entering onto this roundabout. And
you just kind of, whoever drives fastest gets through.
Yeah. You enter onto a mini roundabout, and that mini roundabout brings you onto whatever other road you want to
and it's like
exit onto.
If you don't crash, you get onto the next level of roundabout.
Pretty much. So,
do you know what it's like, actually, to describe it to you? It's like if you've seen, what are those, the waltzers?
Yes, yeah,
waltzers at a carnival. That's basically what it
is. It is insane. Yeah, just Google Swindon Magic Roundabout. You can't possibly imagine that.
You can't miss it.
No. I'm having a heart attack looking at it.
Here, we haven't talked about a single episode yet.
Here, we wanted to recap last week first, didn't we? Or
No, we're just talking about the characters involved this week.
who's going to lead this week?
Yeah,
Carrie-Anne
so we've got that stupid thing. Then we've got Carrie-Anne and Aoife. And last week, Carrie-Anne confronted Aoife, just come to the grave of the person that I killed, who's your daughter. And then Aoife whipped out an old Glock.
Yeah.
No, sorry, she didn't whip out the Glock. Carrie-Anne found the Glock in her bag, pointed the gun at her. Aoife did some crazy moves, took the gun, pointed it back at her, and then left. But then nothing happened.
Well, do you know how Aoife did those crazy moves?
We'll get onto it.
Yeah, okay.
We'll tease it out from
He knows.
And then there's some other stories going on as well. So, this 5.7% pale ale is after blowing the head off me. So
it's going straight to your arse. Fair City, the first episode broadcast on Sunday, the 9th of September.
You know a friend of mine actually, and he'll know who it is, but I won't name him. He's about 6'5", and he put on weight, but it only went to his arse. And so he looked like just 1 part Michelin man, 6 parts just very tall man.
I bet he could have gotten.
He looks great now, though. He looks great now.
He could have gotten specialist modelling work.
He actually got a disability allowance. Fat arse.
Fat arse. So Sunday, 9th of September 2018, we're kicking right off here with the first episode of the week. In seeking payback for Cahill, Carol makes a horrifying discovery about Yates. Elsewhere, Carrie-Anne double-crosses Aoife, but soon realises the extent of her anger. Also tonight, Orla searches for a solution to her family problems, while Lee fears his family's input will ruin his app. Is that the right one? Yeah, it is.
No, this is what they do on the Sunday episode. They always drop a story.
Yeah, one of them just falls away.
They drop actually, right? If anyone's been listening to this, there was a story which I'm glad is gone, to be honest, because it was a bit dodgy to even talk about.
Oh yeah.
But there was a story going, or story. Yeah, there's a story in Fair City.
You were going to say there was a story going around, weren't you? As if it was a rumor.
Oh man, so no wonder I've started drinking. I think I'm now in Fair City. Someone asked me where I was from the other week, and I goes Carrickstone. But this person, there was. I feel like we're hotboxing, but like smoking Fair City.
Somebody, I don't know what hotboxing is. Somebody was telling me the other day that they were talking about Breaking Bad, and they were asking me if I read Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, and all I could think of is I haven't watched anything that isn't Fair City in about 2 months.
Do you know Renee? No. Yeah, but there was a storyline going through it anyway, and it was basically about this 15-year-old girl, and she kissed her teacher. The teacher kissed her back, and the teacher was kind of manipulating her and all this kind of crack, and then she lied about it and whatever. And it was like, oh, what the hell is going to happen here? Someone's going to jail? I haven't heard about it since.
No, dropped it.
Just dropped it. And just to inform you as well, if you're first-time listeners, they plan these things 20 months in advance.
Yeah.
20 months. Actually, do you have any problem when people say 20 months instead of the year plus the months?
No, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Well,
that kind of annoys me, to be honest.
But you did it.
Oh no, I did it because I'm remembering it through the article, and that was written as 20 months.
So you'd say 1 year and 8 months.
I'd say 1 year and so many months, because I wouldn't be able to work out the other ones.
That seems insane. I'd say 20 months.
Do you know, I thought that there was 100 seconds in a minute for probably 6 years of my life.
Yeah.
From 10 to 16.
But isn't that the weird thing though, is that milliseconds then are 100?
Do you know what the weird thing is? Oh, actually, speaking of milliseconds, right? Did you ever do that thing with a stopwatch where you tried to get it just to go to 1 millisecond?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh. Peak.
Wore my fingers out. That's a different night. All right.
We have to start the episode. Come on.
God, it's awful. All right, okay.
I love this week.
The second episode's one of my favourite episodes in Fair City so far.
So good, wasn't it?
All right, grand. We'll go on.
Fucking
all right, we're in the supermarket. It's Dolores, Orla, and Wayne. Dolores walks up to Orla and asks about Carrie-Anne. There are a lot of general scenes in this week where people are just kind of reiterating storylines. But anyway, Wayne complains to Orla about a birthday present not being in their son's bag.
Yes.
And then that's never followed up ever again. And then there's also a thing going through this episode that there's a birthday on. Few characters mention it. We never go to the birthday.
No.
Ever.
Orla as well tells Wayne that she doesn't want to sit behind a desk.
Yeah, so Orla was meant to leave and go work with her husband Wayne, Wayne's World, but she doesn't want to.
No, totally understandable, to be honest.
Yep.
Scene 2 of them, we're in Deco's house. Deco's house. And Charlotte is, she's off tonight. She's telling everyone she's going out. She just keeps telling, oh, I'm going out, by the way.
What tune did you put on Deco's house there?
I think it's, Is it someone's girl or something?
Oh, Jesse's girl.
Jesse's girl, yeah.
Yeah,
Jacko's house. She lets Aoife in. Aoife knocks on the door, and Charlotte lets Aoife in to talk to Carrie-Anne about visiting the grave. I think, I don't know. I was very, very sleepy when I was writing.
Jesus,
these
it's going
notes.
well, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was thinking this one would be smooth. Deco then comes down and he brings them all into the kitchen to.
Friend of mine, actually, the lad who all the weight went to his arse, he said to me that, oh, really enjoying the podcast, but I can't follow the show at all. And I was like, oh yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
That's got nothing to do with the podcast.
No, we can't follow the show when we watch it.
So yeah, we're just over in Bishop's host, Deco's host. They're all arguing. It's the same old crack.
Yeah.
But Sasha says a line. She goes, I have a bad feeling about this.
A really bad feeling, yeah.
Yeah, which is a famous Star Wars line.
Yeah, it is.
And it's mentioned in every single Star Wars film.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was mentioned in every single one.
But at this stage, do you hate it?
Hate Star Wars?
Yeah.
Oh, like that's an entire podcast. I was very disappointed with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
That was awful. When Luke was sucking off that beach
that's
cow,
true, though.
whatever.
Yeah,
that's true. You check that out. I'm
He
not
does
exaggerating.
that, yeah, and he smiles at the camera and he winks. Like
Yeah,
you swear we were joking, but no, he does that. And I think we won't get into it, but Mark Hamill himself said he basically played the character as a different character because he thought Luke would never do any of this shite.
I have one good bit of trivia from
Go
The
on.
Last Jedi, though. So, BB-8, one of the best children's toy that they ever put into a show to sell toys to kids. BB-8 actually says, I have a bad feeling about this in Last Jedi, but he says it in binary.
Really?
Isn't that cool?
So he goes like beep 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 beep. Beep.
Yeah, he goes beep, 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 beep. Which
Wow.
is actually Morse code, but anyway. Yeah, so
He was right to have a bad feeling about the movie.
scene 3.
We're only in the
My description. Oh, is it?
I think so.
Oh, I went to. Well, yeah, go on. What's scene 3? Did I miss a shop? I thought we were in. Anto, Lee, and Sharon's place. In the
Oh,
Collins' place. No.
I don't think. No, I think we're in the unnamed shop, and Lee is talking to Sharon and Anto, and he's giving them the shot list for the day.
Oh, right, okay.
And then he says that they're both going to be dressed as cowboys.
Yeah, so
Scene over.
Lee is currently developing a DIY app with his parents.
Oh, which I actually think sounds like a good app.
It is a good app, and I actually checked up to see if there are apps like that.
Yeah.
A good rule of thumb, right? If you're ever looking for something and you're like, oh, it'd be really easy or really good if I could, get this thing that would solve this problem. There's probably an app.
Yeah.
So just Google it and it'll make your life easier. Boom, bat. So scene 4.
Yeah. We're in the park.
We're in the park, which I thought was the graveyard
Yeah.
for a long time because they said they were going to the graveyard.
They keep saying it.
They
but-
do this a lot in Fair City though, where they say, "Oh, we'll, this big party's on tonight, but we'll meet in McCoy's beforehand and have a few drinks there."
Oh yeah, awfully suspicious. Really, it's like
it's almost like they don't have that many
Let me see.
locations or something.
I would love to see them eventually go to the graveyard, and all they've done is they've taken the park scene and they've put those Halloween gravestones.
Could you imagine the size of the Fair City graveyard?
The Fair City used to have a website. Because I found this when I was maybe around 18 or something, and I found it so hilarious. They used to have a website dedicated all to Fair City, RT. I think they've gotten rid of it now. And a section on that website was called the Fair City Graveyard. And you'd go on, it had a list of every character that had ever died on Fair City. And the backdrop of that part of the website was just one of those, like almost like a field at Flanders, like a war memorial, just infinite gravestones off into the...
Was it all
into the
done in
distance.
like Flash?
Yeah.
Very good. So we're in the graveyard, or no, we're in the park, and Carrie-Anne and Aoife are just talking about, going visiting the daughter of the woman that she's walking in the park that she murdered. And, excuse me, the beer is repeating on me. Carrie-Anne starts getting a panic attack.
Yeah.
And then I said in this, I've yet to see a grave, but that's because I thought we were in the graveyard. And then Aoife says, look, let's go back to your house, because Aoife wants to murder Carrie-Anne.
Yeah, which is fair enough, isn't it? I'm just trying to make sure now.
Did I completely, no pun intended, jump the gun on this?
Yeah, you did.
Why didn't you point that out at the time?
Because
Because you didn't realise until
Yeah.
we got to this scene.
I actually thought, oh no, I've gotten mixed up.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
look, you find out what...
Yeah.
When I said last week, I actually meant this week.
Yeah.
That was...
There's no going back now. I have a bad feeling about this. Carry on. Yeah. Okay, listen. Forget about the gun. I didn't even mention a gun. But
One thing, actually. What did Carrie-Anne do?
Carrie-Anne picked up the bag.
No, I mean, what did Carrie-Anne do that, like, she's allowed to walk around town and kind of interact with people? Like, she stabbed a person with a screwdriver out of jealousy, yeah?
She was found guilty of that crime and has been sentenced.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a scuffle, or it wasn't like a kind of a grey area kind of thing. she deliberately stabbed someone with a screwdriver. Yes.
Yeah.
People are kind of acting. You know, she's kind of acting as if like, oh, I'm getting such a hard time.
Dolores loves her.
Yeah. What?
Dolores.
I don't know.
Yeah. Scene 5. We're in Vino's. Anto and Sharon meet with Pete in order to learn about DIY. He tells them what dowel joints are. Did you know what dowel joints?
I knew what dowel joints were. Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
And this is why this scene annoyed me.
You'd have to be doing pretty badly to not know what a dowel joint was, wouldn't you?
Just in life in general.
Yeah, like if you were going to be doing a DIY app, you'd want to know what
Share
a dowel
that.
joint
Any
was.
audience members don't know, or any listeners that don't know what a dowel joint is, you're an idiot, according to Roger.
Ah, come on, it's pretty simple. It's like knowing what an assembly language is.
Do you know what they actually used to be? The first ones that came out used to be called fowl joints, and they were made from chicken legs, and that's how they used to assemble flatpack furniture.
That's not true.
So
The fact that you think the overlap between flatback furniture existing and us making stuff from rudimentary chicken bones exists is...
That's the joke. Okay, Carol also wants to turn in Cahill for cutting her son's face out of a photo when he broke into their house.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Some of the sentences that you can do for descriptions in these scenes are wonderful.
I think the funniest thing about that, though, is that means that Cahill is walking around with just a cut-out picture of Jack's face in his pocket.
No, what that says is that that's what you do. A normal person would just throw it in the bin, but you're assuming that he would have to keep it in his pocket.
Yeah,
That's what you do if you broke into someone's house.
Well, I wouldn't want anyone to find the evidence.
So you keep it in your
I
pocket.
keep it on me, yeah, at all times. I keep it in a locket. Nora thinks, so Carol is talking to Nora about the whole situation then about, should she shop in Cahill? And she said that Steve has told her that he's working on something himself, and Nora thinks that Steve will get the job done. And Carol is a bit too worried about her son. She's not really thinking straight. Do you think, at this point, did you trust Steve to get the job done?
Yeah, Steve is her on and off boyfriend who loves arguing, or that they both love arguing with each other. And he's a guard, but he's undercover, isn't he, at the moment?
I think so.
And he's performing some sort of sting operation against these gang members.
Well, we'll see. But I also think that at this point anyway, I did trust Steve because I believe the actor does quite a lot of voiceover work. So I'm used to hearing his voice talking about products.
You are a bit of a connoisseur of that website. What's it called?
I can't remember the
voiceover
name,
website.
Yeah, it is just it's like VoiceWorks or something like that. VoiceWorks Ireland, I think. Yeah, and I just look that up sometimes if I'm feeling lonely.
I'm a bit confused here because I have a note in this that said my friend's house burned down, and I'm not sure if it was just something that I wanted to say or was it connected to the scene.
Come on, it must be connected. Go, tell the story, and I'll try and work out how it's connected.
So, in my estate when I was younger, when I was about 10, why is everything connected when I was 10? This is weird.
10th episode.
10th episode, so weird.
It's like Lost.
Yeah, it is.
This is better than Lost.
Except this will have an ending.
Yeah.
It probably won't. But yeah, so my friend...
There's a lot of people speculating if this podcast is purgatory.
My friend, or an acquaintance at least, he had a birthday party. He lived right across the road from me, and I went to school and everything, and he didn't invite me.
Absolute C word.
But then his house burned down during his birthday party.
That is very funny. That is...
I shouldn't have said that.
Wait, no one died, did they?
No, but their sitting room was awful.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. Up until the point that you told the story about a 10-year-old's birthday being ruined by a fire breaking out, you were like, I'm in the right.
It's just sometimes when you say things out loud,
you realise. It becomes real, doesn't it?
It's a realisation sets in.
They needed a few foul joints to put that place back together, didn't they?
Yeah, but weirdly enough, when it didn't fully burn down, right? They were still living in it afterwards. Just they were confined to a few rooms due to the smoke damage. But the weird thing is that my mother, who in fairness is unbelievably charitable and loves helping people and stuff, she brought all the kids from that party over to our house. So therefore, his party kind of became my party.
I think,
and I told him he's not invited. I sent him back over.
Yeah. I do think that that does just make it sound like you set fire to the house.
Well, they never got me.
My friend's house burnt down as well when we were in, I think, 6th year or 5th year or something like that of secondary school. And he was late coming into German class that morning, and he arrived in, and the German teacher said, "Well, now, Tom, why are you late?" And he goes, "My house burnt down." And he goes, "Oh yes, brilliant excuse." And then he hands him a note. He hands him a note that his dad had written, and he goes, I'm well, I'm sorry, Tom. Just sit down. Just make yourself at home.
I've one more story about a house. So during
They're
my
getting more generic.
during my leaving cert I was at home. For some reason, I was off from school or whatever, but I wasn't sick, and I was just a bit bored. I think I was studying or something. I was a bit bored, and there's a house just down the road from me. It's actually about 3 houses down from where this house like had all the fire damage, and it's on the edge of a hill. So a lovely house, and there was one of the guys who's a really good friend of mine. He was in school and he messaged me and he said, "There's smoke coming from our estate because you can see our estate like it's kind of across a valley or whatever, and then the school's over there, and it's like there's smoke coming from over there. What's after happening, right?" So I just messing around said, "Let's just call him Mr. Murphy." I just goes, "Mr. Murphy's house fell down." Right, Mr. Murphy's house fell down the hill, right, and that's what's happening. And so Alan, my friend, you won't mind me mentioning his name, Alan told everyone in school that Mr. Murphy's house started falling down off the hill, right? And then Mr. Murphy's wife, Mrs. Murphy, came in and collected one of her kids from school, and they all saw it happening during lunch, just by complete coincidence, right? Wow. So then Alan kept asking me what's going on. Now I'm just in my kitchen, right? I don't know what's going on outside of this.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen any smoke. I don't know where it is. And Alan goes, what's going on? And I said, Mr. Murphy's son, he's trapped in the rubble at the end of the hill, right? And they can't get him out. So they saw the wife coming in collecting the other kid, and they're like, oh my God, right? Now, one guy's listened to this story, and it turns out that his dad was the engineer who signed off on the house. So he rushes off and he rings his dad, and he's like, "Dad, Mr. Murphy's house is after falling down the hill." And his dad gets an absolute heart attack on the other side of the phone, thinking that. And but then the worst thing is that well, I shouldn't have said his name. I'll have to bleep that out. Is that this guy's dad, or this guy tells his dad, like, one of the kids is trapped under all the rubble at the end of the hill.
Yeah, it just cuts back to that guy's dad later. He's burning everything, all the papers in relation to the house. He's raking them into the fire. "What are you doing, Joseph?" "Kathleen, we have to go."
Oh, man. Too funny. Anyway, scene 6. We're in the dry cleaners, which previous dry cleaners, this isn't the same place. It's a different set.
Huey's folding clothes.
It's Orla, Huey, and Dolores.
Yeah.
Huey and Dolores are discussing Orla's kind of job prospects. Oh, you should go into PR and target markets and other general words.
Orla says she doesn't really know all of the current online marketing techniques, and Dolores says, "Not everyone is on the internet now, Orla."
Yeah, don't be prejudiced against those people not on the internet.
You big idiot.
Scene 7, we're in Deco's house. It's Aoife and Carrie-Anne.
Deco's house.
Sam is hungry, so Aoife is going to feed her for Carrie-Anne.
Did you think she was going to breastfeed her?
Oh, man. You and breastfeeding. Like, what is with you and breastfeeding?
I just think it's very natural. She does start feeding Sam, but then Carrie-Anne nips out, and she has a look at what is in Aoife's bag.
She finds a gun in her bag, as you do.
As you do, yeah.
And it's honestly, I'd say it's probably one of the funniest things that's happened.
Yeah.
Because she looks into the bag, and it's like, she gives the same reaction as if someone took a shit in the bag.
Yeah, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, this shouldn't be in here, but it's actually a gun.
Yeah. Scene 8, then we're in McCoy's. Carol's talking to Aidan about who broke into her house. I don't really understand Carol's dynamic with Aidan, but clearly she gets on a bit with him.
Carol comes from like a criminal background, and her husband was some sort of a maniac before, and I think her other husband as well had some sort of criminal ties as well, which got really confusing in this episode. But we'll get into that. And so she knows Aidan from the criminal underworld.
Yeah, and he does say like, I think as well, Cahill has just walked in at this point.
Yeah, Cahill's another criminal guy.
Yeah. Now, who is the guy who broke into Carol's house? And Aidan is, like, I think the character is written to be as dumb as a sack of bricks. Like, that's pretty much his character. And Carol goes, "Yeah, somebody broke into my house," and they cut up that picture. And Aidan's like, "Geez, what a freak. If I found out who he was, I'd beat the living crap out of him." And Cahill is just, like, he's pretty terrified because Aidan could trounce him. And then as soon as Aidan heads off, Carol comes over and tells Cahill, like, "You don't know what I told Aidan." Just to get
him on edge.
Spice him up.
The thing I noticed most in this is that door in McCoy's needs to be greased.
Oh, it's very...
It's like...
Well, that's to let you know the characters have come in when they when they have about 1,000 different characters converging onto McCoy's.
It sounds like a cat doing a voiceover for an alarm. That's what I would best describe it.
Yeah, very good description.
Scene 9, we're in.
Decco's house.
It's Carrie Ann and Aoife. Carrie Ann tells Aoife that she would be sad if her baby was murdered.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Who wouldn't be? It'd be weird to not be sad. And Aoife then laments the loss of her own daughter, and she goes, "Oh, I loved my daughter before she had a screwdriver in her."
Yeah, and she also says that her grandkids won't be able to have grandkids.
Yeah, and then I said I love this bit because Aoife goes to get the gun out of her bag, and she's like, "Wait, what?" But her reaction isn't like, "Oh, I'm missing the weapon." It's like, "Oh, I'm sure I had my phone charger." And then Carrie Ann goes, "Looking for this?" Pretty much. Yeah.
She was just missing like smoking a cigar.
Yeah, and
everything turned black and white, and they were both wearing fedoras.
This is one of the first really, really tense ad breaks that they've ever had, because I feel like they normally go to ad breaks. They're trying to get a bit of a cliffhanger, but it's normally stuff like, "You mean we don't have milk?"
I was also watching Full Metal Jacket in between watching these episodes.
I can tell you that's an unhealthy thing to do.
Yeah, so I was kind of associating Aoife with like Private Pyle.
Private Pyle is...
He blows his head off and shoots the gunnery sergeant. What's his name? Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool about him? No, I might be messing this up a tiny bit, but Kubrick brought that guy on because he's actually a real drill instructor.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Army...
The gunnery sergeant guy in Full Metal Jacket.
The guy who is doing the drill instruction. Yeah. Who died recently.
Yeah, well, it's probably long enough. It doesn't matter. Yeah, recently, of course. But he brought him on because he was a real drill instructor. But like the songs and stuff that they're singing, and like all the slags and stuff that he's doing against the guys, like they were letting him roll with it. Like he was just coming up with that stuff. Like,
well, I know another funny tidbit about that where the Kubrick was famous for making people redo takes over and over again. Like, apparently he did horrific, like, mental damage to... Is it Shelley Long? Is that the person who's in The Shining? That plays the mother?
I have no idea what her name is.
That name is probably incorrect, but whoever plays the mother in that film, that he just made her retake scenes over and over and over and over again to the point that she had genuine mental issues. And that drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket, who wasn't even an actor, would brag about the fact that he was never once asked to do a retake, and everyone on production speculates that it's actually just because Stanley Kubrick was terrified of him.
Probably.
So,
I've two good Kubrick things. One in The Shining, and then will you park a tinfoil conspiracy for me as well, which is the ultimate one. Like in the whole world, it's the ultimate one.
Tinfoil hat.
Yeah, park that. There in the start of The Shining, right? If you just want to watch the intro of it, I'm sure it's on YouTube. So that was a Stephen King book. And Stanley Kubrick then was going to make this film, which he did. And they're driving up the highway in the start of that. And again, might be getting the colours of these the opposite way around, but you'll get the general gist of it. They're Jack Nicholson and the wife and the kid. They're driving a Beetle, an old Volkswagen Beetle, and I think it's red. Is it red? Or is it yellow? It's one of those. Let's say it's red. He's driving up, and they pass a scene where there is a car overturned, and it's a Volkswagen Beetle, and it's yellow, and it's on fire. And in the Stephen King novel, he has it as a yellow Volkswagen Beetle. So this was Stanley Kubrick saying, "This is my red Volkswagen Beetle. This is my film, and your car is on fire," which means, like, you know, this has nothing to do with your novel. It's mine now. Isn't that pretty cool?
That sounds pretty great. Yeah,
I really like that kind of stuff. But the biggest tinfoil conspiracy in the whole world is obviously the moon landing, right? And obviously never happened. But
so you were saying that ties into. Okay, go on.
Oh no, I don't even know where we are in the episode. But
is this the tinfoil hat?
This is this is the ultimate tinfoil hat, like in the whole world. Like this is where they all come from. Is the moon landing is faked?
So this isn't tied into Fair City?
Nah, not at all. Right. So
I've tuned out now. Yeah.
Yeah. So tune back in again. So he was supposedly the director behind faking the moon landing, right? And the deal was that if he makes the moon landing, that he can make 2001: Space Odyssey.
That was the deal.
Yeah. Isn't that good?
You know? Yeah.
And it's definitely true, so don't bother arguing with us.
Okay.
All right, so...
We'll park that. Aoife slaps the gun out of Carrie Ann's hand, and then she has the gun again.
And then she says to Aoife, Carrie Ann says to Aoife at one point, "You were going to kill me on Karen's grave, weren't you?"
Yeah, she just casually and she probably was, but...
And then Aoife says, "I wasn't going to tarnish her grave with a coward's blood."
Yes, yeah. And now I thought this was weird, but then... I think this is at the point that I vaguely recalled the fact that I do you think Aoife was in the army? Is that correct?
No, Aoife was definitely,
Yeah.
because in a later episode it's referred to, you have the training to kill someone without a gun.
But I thought that really caught me off guard. But when I thought about it in context, I thought she probably was in the army. I actually learned something interesting during the week. Do you know who the Supreme Commander of the Irish Army is?
The president?
It's Michael D. Higgins.
Yeah.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
He's our Supreme Commander. He will go into combat someday.
With his 2 dogs.
Yep. They riding on them like a sleigh.
Like a war cat, like a battle cat in He-Man.
He's like that awful dwarf character at the end of the Hobbit movies that's played by Billy Connolly.
I have another stupid thing about battle cats. The reason that Battle Cat was created in He-Man is because that's all related to Mattel bringing out a line of toys. I think it's like the first one that was just brought out solely to sell toys rather than coming from a show or a movie and then selling toys from that. So they brought out toys, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and all this. But the Battle Cat that they have in that was from a different line of toys that they just had hanging around, that they already had tooled up and stuff, and it was just a normal tiger. But except in comparison to He-Man, it was huge. It didn't make any sense in terms of scale. So they said, look, paint it green and just put yellow stripes in it. And so they're like, yeah, it works, but he's still quite big. And it goes, oh, look, just put a helmet on him and then stick He-Man on the back of him. And that's how he came about then as Battle Cat.
Did you know that Transformers the TV show Transformers was created because the Hasbro bought all of these unsold factory versions of transforming toys from 2 different toy lines. One of them were all ground vehicles, like trucks and stuff like that, and the other ones were from another anime show in Japan that were all transforming like flying vehicles, like planes and stuff. And then they bought them all, and they were like, let's just put them all in a TV show together, and then we can just sell all of these as one product line.
Very cool.
And
who's your favourite Transformer?
Either Starscream if you're going evil side, or good side is probably Optimus Prime.
Do you like Optimus Prime?
I do. He's a bit of a goody two shoe. I like Deadlock. Is that the guy who has I think he has a like a toe arm.
What's the name? I like Ironhide, and I'd say my favourite guy is Blackout.
Who's Blackout?
See Blackout? He's the helicopter.
Oh, not familiar with him.
He's deadly. And I think
cool.
that's his name. Anyway, we really need to get going.
Sorry,
Can we just skip on to scene 13, or we're never going to get this finished?
Yeah, go on. Wayne's Wheels?
No, it's the one after that. It's like 13. It's basically, we find out that Deco and Amy, they're having a little bit of a relationship lately, and now Amy has to move to Cork.
Yeah.
Move down to us.
Oh, such a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, such a shame. So Deco's heartbroken, and Amy's gone.
Yeah.
Is scene 14 with McCoy's? You want to take this one?
Yeah, Steve and Cahill meet up. Steve tries to reassure Cahill.
Steve is the guard, Cahill is the criminal.
Yeah. It's like Country Mouse, City Mouse, except they're Criminal Mouse and Garda Mouse. And
Very good, man.
Steve tries to reassure Cahill that he is going to... he's trying to set up a deal now with Cahill where he's not going to grass him up. And Cahill is going to potentially retract his statement to the guards, and in exchange for that, Steve will tell him some of the secrets that the guards have.
Steve's going to become a king rat.
Yeah.
In scene 15, we've actually got one of the first visible ejaculations of a character as well. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
Scene 15, we're in the station yard. It's Wayne and Orla. And Orla goes through some marketing stuff with Wayne about that she could implement into Wayne's business, Wayne's Wheels. Yeah. And then she kind of coyly whispers in his ear, in a year's time, me and you, we could be running the Malloy Empire. And you can actually see Wayne just go,
He definitely has asked her to...
Go on.
Anyway,
you're there. No, you're there. Come on.
That's what he says. He's asked her to role play about being head of the business before, yeah.
And saying that you're a bad worker, Wayne. You're a bad worker.
No, I think she's telling him like, oh, stocks are going up, Wayne. Oh.
Are we tripping on your fantasies here, or what's the story?
No.
One of the PR tips that she gives him is we could do things like telling customers, driver tips, check your car.
Yeah, great tip, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Then Huey comes over. Oh, because they're talking as well about the fact that Wayne, because they never let anything go unconnected, that Wayne bought a load of limousines or something a few weeks ago, and they're talking about how they might do some tours with the limousine, some fancy tours. And Huey arrives over, and I have another one for my conspiracy of a bunch of Americans that are infiltrating the Fair City scene. Because Huey said that he had a bunch of Italians staying at the pod before, and that they would have loved to have done some sort of driving tour around Dublin. Italian. Could it be any more clear? You have Italian, you have Bob saying schedule, or schedule instead of schedule, and of course you have Amy talking about, Amy said, Amy, I think at one stage...
Do you ever stop going on with Amy, like?
Yeah, well...
She's not that good of a character.
I just think that she has so much more potential than most of the other characters that are there.
In what way?
Like, you just think of the story... You could set a spin-off in Cork.
Could you? What would you call it?
What would you call it?
Amy and Roger's Big Day Out?
No. You'd call it Amy in the
A bend in the river?
No, what?
No, I thought that would be a good one.
You'd call it Amy in the Real Republic.
Amy in the Real Republic. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So in the last scene, we're in the station. It's Steve and Carol. Carol wants Steve to basically come clean to her about the police operation that they're running on this crime gang that Cahill is involved in. And Steve lays his cards on the table then and he says, look, you're just going to have to trust me. Are you going to trust me? And she's like, you've been running an operation for the last week and I've been living in fear.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to one scene before this.
Oh, brilliant.
Because I feel like it's a line...
First episode, no, it's about an hour long.
It's a brilliant line that we can't miss, right? It's scene 17, we're in the Dolphin Pod. Aoife and Amy are chatting about Karen and all of the Carrie-Anne stuff. And Aoife says the line... And when Amy's asking her, like, oh, you can't just, you're not just looking for revenge, are you? And Aoife says, I guess there's not much the Bible doesn't spell out for us.
So you think that's the Iona Institute coming in?
I think, and the best thing about that is Amy's response is like missing a beat and going, right. So she even acknowledges in Fair City that that's an insane thing to say. And Aoife has basically said that an eye for an eye should be the law of the land.
Our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. Scene 17, like I was saying, Steve kind of reveals to Carol, his girlfriend, that he's running a secret operation, taking on this crime gang, and he's only acting the fool. And then he says that he actually hid a camera in her house, so when Cahill broke in, he got it all on camera. And obviously, Carol was not too impressed about that. She's like, you hid a camera in my house? Do you know who else is good at hiding cameras, Roger?
Who?
One of the founders and kings of rock and roll.
Oh, Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, yeah.
Yeah, in his own restaurants, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he hid cameras inside in the ladies' bathrooms and had the authorities seized an absolute massive stash of pornography and all that. Huh. But other than that, you know what else he did?
What?
He was transporting 14-year-olds across state lines.
Oh, lovely stuff.
So, do you still like Chuck Berry, lads? Do you still like Chuck Berry?
Do you want to know one other thing about Chuck Berry?
Go on.
He insists upon... he's dead now, isn't he, I think? But
he is, yeah.
He always insisted, even after he became huge, in being paid in cash, because there had been so many times he hadn't been paid early in his life from white bookers not paying a black act. So he would, it would get to the stage where I think once, like, his fee for appearing at something was like $250,000, and he insisted that in cash. So it was just like I don't know, 50 different suitcases filled.
Yeah, but has he ever gone around a roundabout twice?
I don't think so. No.
Alright, so that's the end of episode 1. It only took us an hour to get through, which means we're going to have to race through the next 2.
Yeah, I'm setting laps again. I'm going to see if we can...
what did we do that in?
So we did that in about 32 minutes.
Oh, that's not so bad. Not so bad.
So do you want to see if we can...
Yeah, I'll try and beat it. Might guess 30 and a half minutes.
This is our favourite episode as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bumper episode. And I've got so many tangents you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
What...
3... Oh, go on.
3? Just random numbers.
I was going to say 3, 2, 1, go.
No, we have to go to old Roger's questions. Check in with you, see how you're getting on. Check into Hotel Roger. What's your title for that episode?
My title for that episode was "There's Not Much the Bible Doesn't Spell Out for Us."
And where did you think it was going to go now with Carrie-Anne pulling the gun on Aoife, Aoife getting the gun back, and then just leaving?
To be honest, I thought, no way is that the end of it. Surely something's going to happen. Like you don't bring a gun to
a party unless you're going to use it.
Yeah. Don't think like you're going to go burn down Carrie-Anne's house on the day of her birthday.
How did that episode make you feel?
Made me feel pretty...
You seem kind of jovial about Fair City this week. There's been some weeks there where you have your head bowed on the table and you barely talk.
This second episode gave me a glimpse of what Fair City could be. I'm really looking forward.
It was almost rom-com.
I really, really liked this episode.
I think there's actually a bit of influence of Harry Met Sally, when Harry Met Sally in some of this.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favourite movies.
You think they're that up to date though? That when's that movie from?
They're probably in the 50s at this stage, so they've got about another 30 years to go. When did that come out? 1980s?
I think so. Late, I think so. Early 80s.
I wish I could remember things. It'd be great. Who's your favourite character?
Favorite character that week?
All right, we're on to episode 2.
Okay.
This episode was broadcast on Tuesday, the 11th of September.
Yep.
Now, that is obviously the anniversary of the Twin Tower attacks. So I did my best to look out
was that
for...
this week?
Yes.
I forgot.
If that, I did my best to look out to see if there was any little conspiracies with the Twin Towers in Fair City. See if anyone would give a nod to it. And they did.
Yeah?
Yep. So can you travel up there on your tandem bicycle and read the description?
I have to tell you, this is a huge description, so strap in. An unexpected return unsettles Carol, and Yates makes a deal with Cahill. Meanwhile, Renee and Jackie clash.
Unbelievable.
There we go. Understatement there in some sections.
All right, scene 1 of this episode, we're in Carol's house.
Scene 1. No, sorry, scene 1. Bob sees something. He's outside and Bob sees something.
Sorry. Scene 2. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
I sit down corrected.
Go on now. We're in Carol's
house. It's Carol, Nora, Steve, Jack, who's the son, and Steve comes in with coffee as a peace offering after their fight, one of multiple fights. And she's like, "Well, you're going to bring coffee, and then I'm going to be grand with you." But she is kind of grand, in fairness.
He says it works for me. That's what.
And then, to be honest, if I had a fight with someone who brought me coffee, I'd be like, grand.
Joe, I find the hardest thing about watching Fair City.
You sounded like Cass there.
Bookies. The hardest
Cass
thing.
is an old bird man that lives in Fair City.
Yeah, he lives in it.
Yep.
The hardest thing about watching Fair City is every 2 seconds they're drinking coffee, and I love coffee, and every time I see it, I do think I really want to go out and get a coffee now. Like, I just want to head out, maybe even to an unnamed shop, and pick up a coffee.
Oh, I'd rather.
It's getting to us.
I'd rather strip bark off a tree, put it into a bucket, and drink that than drink the coffee inside that unnamed supermarket.
Actually,
unless they want to sponsor us, in which case they have the best coffee I've ever had.
Yeah, here's something funny about that unnamed shop as well. Is that a friend of mine who listens to this podcast said that they heard somebody reference going to that shop in the real world, and they went, "Oh God, you can't say that." They genuinely thought that, like, "Oh God, you've said that. You're not allowed to say that."
See, everyone thinks they're either living in Carrickstone or in the podcast. Yeah. So anyway, we're in this scene, and then a guy comes in the door. We've never seen him, correct?
No. Yeah.
And it's Robbie. It's Carol's ex,
who I thought was dead.
We thought was dead, but the other guy's name is what? Billy, yeah. Billy Meehan, who is dead.
Yeah.
But they were actually kind of... This guy was meant to be dead as well, this Robbie guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, they said it, like, we thought you were dead, or something like that. I just didn't understand what was going on. But anyway, he comes back, and then... where's this bit? So Carol basically then trying to treat us as if, there's a ghost after arriving, but I have to go, like, I have stuff to do, like.
Heading off.
She walks out of the scene with Jack. Steve's already gone, I think, at this stage.
Yeah.
He doesn't really mind either.
No.
Even though this guy was missing and presumed dead. And then Nora says this quote. She goes, who I think is Robbie's mother.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
She goes, "You were off playing soldiers. There were bigger battles to be fought at home." Right? So I did a bit of a fact check on this, right? What wars are the Irish Defence Forces involved in at the moment? Right? And the majority of them are peacekeeping.
Yeah.
So I had a look, and there's a good few out there.
They must be in, surely, I would say Israel off the bat.
Yeah, no, there's a few of them in Israel, but they're on like different borders and all the rest of it.
Are they in the Ivory Coast?
I don't know. There are current missions are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And they go from Middle East, Asia, Europe, and then they're also counted as being in the United Nations headquarters in New York, right? But anyway, the majority of them are like 7 people. Like, you know, as in like 7 people stationed there, 20 people. But the longest running one, that's a mistake. But with some of the most troops is the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon. Right, and then you pronounce that UNIFIL. That's kind of the way they do all of their things.
UNIFIL.
Yeah, UNIFIL. It sounds like something you...
Sounds like a brand of petrol.
Yeah, or some sort of jelly you put into a sink.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking, there was a guy I knew, and he was a father of some people I knew, and he was in Lebanon in peacekeeping missions. But I never... There was more about it before. Did you know anyone who was involved in Lebanon peacekeeping missions, or hear of any guy like in Cork or anything?
No,
I remember hearing about a few lads over there. Like
one of my cousins was in the army, and I know that she was on peacekeeping in the Ivory Coast or something at some stage. But I don't know. Maybe the Lebanon as well. I don't know.
So anyway, to give you a bit of background on this, because this is actually quite interesting just to find out about it. But Israel invaded Lebanon in 1978, right? And then
what are they up to?
I know. Then the United Nations kind of said, "Look, lads, sling your hook, get out," right? So then we became part of this force. There's 540 people on the ground, and there was 100 other kind of admin lads in the HQ, and they were sent in. And until 2001, 1978 to 2001, that's fucking ages. Like.
Yeah.
But they were sent in to basically do things like checkpoints, patrols, and just kind of supervise the withdrawal of the Israeli forces. And they were like aiding local orphans and stuff. But 47 Irish troops died.
Really?
Over there, yeah.
Oh.
And they completed 32,000 tours.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's really good. Yeah.
But it was really cool, right? Because then for some reason they started joining up with the Finnish guys. So then we had an Irish-Finnish battalion.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, and now we're over there again with the Irish, Finnish, and there's 38 Estonian lads there as well.
Cool.
But there isn't enough of them for them to have a name on the end of it.
Poor lads. Do you know the Irish Rangers, who are like our SAS, or the most elite force in the Irish Army? They're actually, people make jokes about the Irish Army, but the Rangers are actually super well respected because we don't have the training facilities to complete all their training in Ireland. So some of the training has to be done with the SAS, some of it has to be done with I can't remember their name, but they're the most advanced, the SAS of France, like who are considered, I think, the most elite fighting force in all of Europe, and some of it has to be done with the Navy SEALs in,
so they get a bit
in
of
the US. Yeah, so they're actually, I think we only have like 100 at any one time.
Well, to back up that point about, people kind of take the piss out of the Irish Defence Force and stuff, in 2011, there was I just love this, a mechanised infantry battalion deployed there, 440 of them. They had MOWAG Piranha 3 MPCs, light tactical armour vehicles, heavy machine guns, anti-tank guns, and javelin missiles.
Oh, wow.
So, they're not fecking around.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at.
Yep.
You could do a coup with them.
A coup with them?
Them. I was finished at the end.
The reason that war started is because what was happening was the Israelis, and there was a few other wars going on, but they were expelling people, and they were hopping into the Lebanon. And then they were recruiting all of the refugees, some Palestinian groups, and then they were using that to kind of do raids on the Israelis. And then the Israelis would come back and absolutely hammer the shit out of them. Yeah. And what they did was there was an 18-year-old woman who was part of a Palestinian group, and they went to a beach in Israel and they murdered an American tourist. Now, on the Wikipedia page, it just say it murdered an American tourist, but it actually turned out to be the niece of a U.S. senator.
Whoa! Oh, yeah.
Of a Jewish U.S. senator as well. He actually has a pretty cool, what's his name? Abraham A. Ribicoff, but he has a pretty cool, like...
That was no accident.
No, yeah. I don't think so. Like, yeah. But they then hijacked the bus, and they killed 38 Israeli civilians and 13 children, and 76 wounded, and that's why the lads went in. But, I have to say, before this, the Israelis were bombed people in 1977 and killed 70 people. And then to even up the score, when they invaded, they killed 2,000 Palestinians and Lebanese, and there's only 20 Israelis killed.
Wow, this is before this gets too dark. Do you want a bit of a?
It's not dark, just
info.
Yeah.
Do you want a bit of a light-hearted bit of banter to balance this back out?
Mm-hmm.
So I was recently studying for an insurance exam, and part of that was you to learn about travel insurance, and one of the exclusions for flight delays. In some travel insurance policies is if your plane's hijacked. So imagine if you're up in your plane and it's hijacked, and you just think as well, that's the travel insurance.
There's the insurance gone. Yeah. It's 90 quid wasted.
Yeah,
brilliant. Scene 2, we're in the street. Do you want to take this one?
It's
actually scene 3 because
Bob and Renee are walking outside. Renee is looking for a replacement viola player. Bob isn't that stressed, but he says it's so far off. It's New Year's Day. But what I was thinking is, if you were doing a wedding on New Year's Day, surely that would be unbelievably expensive, like insanely so. Do you not think?
I think it would just be hard to book it, because I think they do like standard pricing in terms of head, per head. But if you could, there's a certain number basis you can get to, and if you invite enough people to your wedding, you'll break even or make the money on it. But you have to have a huge wedding.
Yeah.
Yep. But I don't know, I wouldn't bother doing that. I think 20 grand in a wedding anyway. Did you pick up any quotes from this scene?
No.
Bob has a great one. He says, he's talking about his wedding to Renee and the trouble with it and stuff. And he says that the road to the altar is paved with eggshells.
Oh, yeah, I remember that line. That actually was a very good line.
So then I had a look, right, because I'd never heard that before. So then...
Do you remember when we said we were going to try and do this episode a bit quicker than
who cares? We'll just skip like 20 scenes.
But this is the best episode.
But there's a quote close to it, which is the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
So the road to hell is paved with good intentions, Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, and the road to the altar is paved with eggshells. Bob from Fair City.
Fair enough, yeah. Brilliant stuff. So scene 4, we're in Deco's house. And Dolores is round with Carrie-Anne, Sash, Charlotte. And then Aoife calls round as well, last thing you want. And Dolores says that she doesn't really believe that Aoife is doing any good for Aoife. And that her hanging with Carrie-Anne, she doesn't really trust it. And then Dolores heads off. And Carrie-Anne and Aoife discuss the gun in private. And then Aoife has decided that it's actually worse to let Carrie-Anne live than to kill her.
Yeah, worse for Carrie-Anne.
And worse for us as viewers.
How do you pronounce the word Privacy?
Can I see it written down?
Yeah, it's right there.
Privacy?
They pronounce it in this as privacy.
Really?
Yeah. Just, little something. But I think privacy is just the posh version of it.
I'd say privacy.
Scene 4, Vino's. We're in Orla Wayne and Pete. Orla's going back to college, and she can't do it online because PR is, very face-to-face. It's essential.
Yeah.
And Wayne and Pete needs Dolores to mind Junior if Orla's going to do a course.
Yeah, and they complain that, this is actually my scene of the week.
Line of the week?
Everything of the week.
Everything of the week.
I love this, right?
Take it away.
Orla's saying she needs to update some of her lingo, her jargon. She needs to figure out what happens now. Do you go for a business breakfast? Do you go for a business lunch? Do you meet in a bar? Do you meet in a coffee bar? And then Pete goes, sushi bar. And Wayne says, relax, Pete. And then Pete goes, here's one for you. The gym. He said, just two people on treadmills running around chatting with each other. And Orla, stony face, says, are you done? And then Pete goes, yeah. And then Orla says, before you went on about that sushi treadmill fantasy. And Wayne says, that's some fantasy. Does our ma know you have that fantasy, Pete? And Pete winks at Wayne. And Orla...
basically suggesting that he eats sushi off Wayne's mother.
While on a treadmill. And Orla is furious about this, as again, nobody's taking her future seriously. And then they discuss the fact that Carrie-Anne is just distracting Dolores. And they're like, here, listen, this is bad for Dolores. She's hanging with Carrie-Anne so much. She can't look after our baby.
We'll just move on there, which is scene 6, I think. It's my line of the week, Huey and Jackie. Huey needs to find a band for Renee's wedding for whatever reason.
Oh, this is a brilliant line. Go on, yeah.
No, there's a Tin Lizzy connection in here. I know you're a massive Tin Lizzy fan, right? But they said someone called a baby after Phil Lynott. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah.
Who was the baby that they... I thought it was a character. I thought Dolores had called a baby after Phil Lynott. Is there anyone called Phil in Carrickstown?
I don't think so. I think just... You're thinking the Mitchell brothers.
Maybe. But Wayne, anyway, arrives out of nowhere while Huey and Jackie are discussing wedding bands and what kind of ideas. And this is the best Wayne line
really
ever.
Properly good joke, isn't it?
Yeah. He comes in and he goes, he just comes out of nowhere, and he goes, I saw this Meatloaf tribute band once, Fat Out of Hell. The lead singer was brilliant. She was the spitting image of him.
Yeah.
That's pretty good,
Really good. I guarantee you if you did that on stage as a joke, people would laugh at it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Really good.
Scene 6, Dolores and Aoife. Aoife's cleaning her gun, like Private Pile again from Full Metal Jacket, practically talking to it.
And this is one of many conversations that happen between Dolores and Aoife through a door.
Aoife, I shot at Aoife inside in her room. She's got a white glove on. She's delicately handling this gun.
I actually theorised she might be using the shower cap from the shower in the Dolphin Pod.
Could have been. And then Dolores comes up and just kind of puts her head to the door. But this is a hostel, by the way. I don't know how Dolores is even getting up to these rooms. And she starts talking to her through the door. And they obviously do a little bit of a voice alteration to make it sound like or record it somewhere or whatever. But it sounds, instead of through a door, it sounds like Dolores is in a wheelie bin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because it's just it's like she's stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Hey, Aoife, why don't you go get a counsellor?" And Aoife's like, "Dolores, why don't you go away?" And Dolores is like, "All right, can't I?"
Yeah. Okay, scene 8, we're in Declan's house. We're just skipping the scene because nothing happens.
No, this is actually a very important scene. This is where the Twin Towers comes in.
Oh.
Did you not pick up on this?
No.
in the background, right, on the kitchen counter, right? Remember now, it's September 11th, this being broadcast. It's also September 11th in Carrickstown. Right?
Yes.
There are 2 branded salt cellars at the back together in the shot.
Well,
what house has 2 branded salt
cellars?
Salt, yeah. So like these are like
it's not salt and pepper.
No,
it's salt.
No, it's exact same.
Double
right?
salts.
And to back up that point, right? 2 towers of salt in the back. To back up that point, in
2 pillars of salt.
In another shot, 2 pillars of salt, beautiful. In another shot, there are 2 identical blue long yogurts next to each other as well.
That is too far, I think. That's unbelievable. Yeah. That's insane. And then in the unnamed shop.
All right, so 114.
Yeah,
I've just edited it back in there because Roger may have implied that we were going to perform a terrorist attack on a famous building.
I didn't imply it. I implied that it was mentioned offhandedly in Fair City.
Scene 8, we're in the station. It's Steve, Carol, Colin, Aidan.
Or Ian? No, Robbie. You're right.
I don't.
Yeah.
But Steve asks if Carol can finally trust him or he'll leave it. And Carol says, you know what, I'll think about it, Steve, the guard. And then Cahill, handily enough, who's a criminal, pops in for a drink.
Yeah.
And Cahill then says, all right, Steve, the guard, if you want to be a king rat and inform on the guards, why don't you tell me about this proceeds of crime raid that's going to happen there next week? And I assume he's referring to the Criminal Assets Bureau. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, he must be. Have you ever played Baldur's Gate 2?
No, I haven't. I don't think so.
It's
no, I'm getting that mixed up with what's that under dungeon kind of game?
The Diablo.
Diablo, yeah.
Yeah, or Diablo. There's I think it's Baldur's Gate 2, or it's one of those. Actually, maybe it's not, but it's some spin-off game from the Baldur's Gate series. It's a dungeon crawler, and you fight a king rat.
Oh, very good.
And all I was picturing was that when you were when they were talking about Steve being.
Oh, you fight a king rat in Dark Souls
as well, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do.
A big, huge rat.
Oh man. Yeah.
Steve the rat.
To send us video games. We'll take them.
I just have a little bit on the Criminal Assets Bureau. But that was set up after Veronica Guerin got killed 2 months after she got killed. Veronica Guerin. 2 months after she was killed, right? But that was
her pseudonym, wasn't it?
There's a cool.
It was only one.
There's a cool.
So it didn't work.
She was assassinated, Roger. A journalist assassinated. There's a cool article in the Irish Times by Conor Lally, and he's talking about how criminals are now beating the Criminal Assets Bureau, and some of the things they do. One of the main things they do is they open car dealerships. And they sell cars, and so then they pay huge salaries to the guys, like the criminals, and they're all on the payroll and everything. So it's a legitimate business paying these huge payrolls to people. And so you wouldn't have, like, if you were working a car dealership, you wouldn't have to be there all the time either.
So it's like almost ultra laundering because the money's never been dirty.
No.
Yeah.
And there's a great one, or what they do as well is the reason that they go to Spain is because there's huge mafias. And crime gangs that are much, much bigger than them over in Spain. And obviously they can't, the Criminal Assets Bureau can't seize anything that they have over in Spain. But they're not on the radar at all, the Spanish government over in Spain.
Because they're so small.
Yeah, and that's why they go over there.
Wow.
Scene 9, we're in the station. Do you want to go for this one?
I don't know.
You lost your ways?
Yeah, I think I'm all confused. No, I have it now. Wait, no, I don't. Go on, you take it away.
Since we're a little bit lost, scene 11. This is the best scene so far. Well, of course, it might be scene 12 thanks to Bob at the start. We're in the bishop's house, and Charlotte is playing
House Music Simulator is what I've written down.
It's unbelievable. It's nearly like almost like a kind of a close-up shot, but it's not. It's like a focus shot on her.
Yeah.
And she's playing something on her phone, and it looks like she's after taking a lot of A-class drugs.
Yeah.
And there's a huge sound coming out of the phone.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's again.
It's like an all-night rave at the.
Don't you dare say that.
No.
The noise that are coming out of her phone and the way she's playing it is again the RTE's production staff interpretation of how.
Young people
do things, and it is awful.
No, it's 1990s drum and bass, while she's making references to like a video game references that don't make any sense in the 21st century.
This scene is all about Carrie Ann talking to Deco and saying, "Here, look, while I'm in prison there, will you just come in every day and take a picture of me and the baby?"
Yeah, do a time-lapse photo of...
slap it up on YouTube.
Yeah, have it shared by BuzzFeed.
Let's skip on there. Skip on to whatever you want there.
Okay.
Actually, skip on to scene 13 in Vino's. Where
this is
we
necessary.
discover something about Aoife.
Aoife and Robbie come in. Dolores, Pete, Orla and Wayne discuss what they're going to do about the Aoife situation again.
Yeah, and Robbie's the guy who's just after returning home, who was probably dead.
Yeah, so Aoife tells Robbie why she came here, which is to settle the bet with Carrie Ann, and she said that she brought a gun as well to kill Carrie Ann. And
she says it very nonchalantly.
Yeah, and then she goes... he asks her, "Where's that gun now?" And she says, "Don't worry, it's in the Liffey." And Robbie says, "You don't even need a gun. You're trained."
Yeah. So, and then she refers to them as being comrades as well.
Yeah.
But this almost sounds like well, you see, he says he was in Iran for a start.
Yeah.
He says
doing security. Somebody
doing
says.
security. So, but like, the reason it kind of sounded like he was with like a peacekeeping force or something. But they're not in Iran at all, because I obviously checked that up.
Do you think it sounds like maybe he's private military?
Yeah, they're special forces or ex-special forces, and then they're going off on like hired contracts.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, unless they just never looked up that there's no Irish forces of any description in Iran.
They would have looked that up, I think.
Sure, you would have, wouldn't you, lads?
Scene 13, now we're outside. Bob asks Jackie if she's any leads in the quartet yet.
Trying to get a string quartet for Renee's wedding.
Yeah, and she says, Jackie says that it can't be done at that price. And Bob says that it must be doable because Renee had one sorted.
Yeah, Renee got a quote for that.
Yeah.
Scene 16, this is where Bob, he becomes my favourite character.
Yeah.
In this, yeah. He's a brilliant callback. We're in the station yard. It's Jackie, Renee, Bob and Huey. Renee goes off the boil again, and Jackie refers, but like lightly refers to, you can't pay that little for a string quartet, because that'd be cheap and having no class, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, because what happens is Renee says that, "Oh, well, I got it at that price. They were a bunch of students." And Jackie then says, "Oh, well, of course that's why they were cheap. They were students." And Renee said, No, I assumed that was the going rate. I didn't realise that it would be cheaper for students." And then Jackie says, "You can't go cheap on class."
Did you just call me cheap?
Yeah.
That's what Renee said.
It blows up.
So Renee leaves, and she's off in a huff, and then Jackie goes, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And then Bob goes, "The sound of thousands of splintering eggshells."
Yeah.
In reference to his last quote.
Very good.
Brilliant.
That Jackie wouldn't have witnessed. So to Jackie, it just sounds like insanity.
Yeah, but that's why it's so great, because Bob is just like living in his own little theatre world. It's brilliant. Scene, the second last scene there, we're in McCoy's, just Wayne and Pete. Dolores and Pete are going out to the show again for a while.
Yeah.
They're off on holidays. Even though Dolores was just on holidays for ages, wasn't she?
I think so, yeah.
Like if you like there's loads of club promoters, there's loads of people involved in like wedding planning, all this stuff, right? Just open a travel agency in Fair City.
Who would work in that travel agency? You'd get Amy back in, wouldn't you?
Oisín. Oisín would be the manager.
Oisín would do it, and as you're telling him where you're going to go, he'd tell you why that place is crap.
Why it's crap. Scene 19, we're in... no, actually, let's go down to scene 20. We'll finish this off. McCoy's Steve and Cahill. This is Steve the guard and Cahill the bad man.
Yeah.
And Steve, the guard, gives Cahill the info on the upcoming police raid. And you're like, "Oh my God, what are you doing, Steve?" But he's so obviously, double bluffing Cahill. And Cahill is their target. Steve says that he can continue being a filthy king rat in exchange for some money. And I just said that Steve obviously isn't a rat, and this is stupid.
Well, I thought that at this point as well, but we'll chat about it later.
No, they try and ham it up.
They over-egg it.
I'll eat something. I absolutely hate yogurt, right? I vomit all over the place. So I will eat a small Petit Flou yogurt, or yogurt, depending on where you're from, depending on how much money your dad earns. And I'll eat one of those on the podcast if it turns out that Steve actually is a rat. And it's not just an undercover sting.
Okay.
That's the end of episode 2. We have to go so fast through episode 3, like faster than we've done 15 minutes maybe, to even try and get this under 2 hours.
Do we go?
We will, but we got to do our things at the end. Roger's questions, check in at Roger Hotel. What's the title for that episode?
Thousands of splintering eggshells.
Very nice. So how did that episode make you feel? You're definitely in better form with
I
First City.
really liked that episode. I was
Off the charts. Is that the best an episode's made you feel? Other than the introduction of Amy's character.
Pretty, who what? That had nothing to do with anything. But I really liked that episode so much so that I actually quoted bits from it to my girlfriend and to my brother.
Oh, God, you've got a brother. Oh, ooh. Did it?
Still alive.
You would say that improved your mental health anyway.
Stabilised it.
Stabilised it.
Let's not go crazy.
For now, who was your favourite character?
My favourite character.
You had a kind of a last note since Amy's moved to Cork.
What? Oh, no, I wouldn't have picked her anyway.
All right, episode 3.
This is
hop in the back of a wagon.
Wait, let's flake through it, right? I'm just going to read my notes. You just stop me when you want, but listen, we have to get
do it the way we're doing it.
No, yeah, but quicker.
It's just slower.
Scene 1, unnamed shop.
Here, Raj, man, you've already fluffed it. Get on your bike.
Oh, yes.
Travel up to Dublin.
Okay.
Go into the entertainment offices. Knock on the doors.
Honk, honk.
Bust their back doors in.
Guys.
Say, give me the description.
Guys, anything? Oh, here we go.
Oh, no, it's Roger.
Huey and Bob try to reconcile Renee and Jackie, and Yates is drawn further into corruption. Elsewhere, Aoife reveals the truth about a lie Deco has told. So there we go.
All right, very good. Scene 1, do you want to fire on?
3, 2, 1, go. Scene 1, we're in the unnamed shop. John asks Steve how's the head after the night before because he was drinking loads and John left him alone. Steve is buying fags, so he smokes in case you didn't know that. Still annoyed and feels a little betrayed by John the guard. I bend the rules, I get results, they don't like it. That's what Steve says. And then
when I drive in bad weather conditions, I sing a song, and you've been in the car when I do this, but it's called, I drive along and I go, time to die, time to die. Ready or not, it's time to die.
That is true.
And it actually calms you down when you're driving.
Yeah, that happened when we were driving back down from a gig from Galway, and there was just unbelievable amounts of snow.
Oh, I did think we were going to crash when I was driving down.
We were properly snowblind. Like, you could not see what was in front of us.
But always, the inconvenience of stopping somewhere and organising a hotel always overrides crashing.
Certain death. Yeah. Because, listen, if you die, you don't have to worry about anything.
It's true.
All your budgeting is fine. Scene 2 is the same scene.
Will and Cristiano.
Yeah, Will and Cristiano. They plan a short winter break. Will wants to go to Iceland, and Cristiano doesn't like that because he said Iceland, it's going to be cold, and he said he goes, oh, ice, it's cold. Glaciers, they're cold. Volcanoes, they're cold. And he goes, no wait, they're hot, but they kill you. And I'll say I've been to Iceland. I love it. I think it's a brilliant place. So Cristiano.
You're an Iceland shill at this stage.
Oh, I fucking no.
Oh. You are?
I said
right, okay.
I really love Iceland. It's a brilliant place. Very expensive, but if you ever get a chance.
In this scene as well, Aoife comes up to Carrie Ann and reveals that Deco's not going to visit her at all in prison. She'll never see the kid, right? No, this is where I'm going to bring us off on a slight tangent. So relax, enjoy yourself. Stop that all watch. So I assume they're going to Mountjoy prison, right?
Yeah.
Do you know much about women's prisons in Ireland?
No, nothing about them.
There's one in Limerick.
Okay.
There's one in Mountjoy. And the one in Mountjoy is called the Docus Centre, which is Irish for Small Woodland Creature Centre.
Wow.
Can you believe that? And the thing is in this, right, there's a hole in this plot because Carrie Ann wants Deco to visit every day. You can't visit every day in prisons.
Oh, really?
You can only visit Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at specific times. So she can't visit on Tuesday or a Sunday. And you have to give 48 hours notice. And the weirdest thing about it, well, I find it weird, is that you have to just fill in an online application with the details of the prisoner number, and details of like who's coming along.
Do you want to find a prisoner and just go visit them?
I thought about that, but then I was like, if we do that, well, actually, I thought about applying to meet a fake prisoner first, like just put in a fake name.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, I don't know, you probably get in trouble for that.
They say like, there's no Emer O'Reilly here. And you go, oh, I thought you.
Oh no, worse than that. Like, I want to meet Mr. Megatron. Like, stupid stuff like that. He caused an awful amount of ruckus there. Destroyed half the city.
Megatron in a low security prison.
But I got some facts on prisons because I realised that I know nothing about prisons.
We should apply to visit Magneto in Mountjoy.
Absolutely, yeah. He's in a plastic floating thing. But this is from the Irish Penal Reform Trust, right? Going to visit them. Give a guess how many people are in prison in custody in Ireland.
3,000.
4,000.
Oh, right.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Do you know how many are in prison in Iceland? Or how many Iceland has the ability to hold?
All right, well, I know from this that there are 250, from doing this podcast, there's 250,000 people in Iceland.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that there are There is 100 people in prison.
Well, they have the ability to hold 64.
Oh, really?
And if anyone is due to go to prison, but it's full, they just let you stay at home until the last person's out of prison and they put you back in.
Very
Unless
nice.
they deem you to be a proper risk. In
Very
which
nice.
case, they'll bump somebody who's a lower risk out of prison.
So all you have to do is just commit your crimes as a huge gang.
As a
get-
65-person gang.
No, like 200 people. Get 200 people to go in and rob a shop. And then you all just stay at home. And nothing changes and you've got loads of money.
That's unbelievable.
How many female
Prisoners.
female prisoners in Ireland?
270?
144.
Really?
And the women's prison, Dorcas, is operating at 150% of its capacity. It's designed for 85 women, and it's got a capacity or bed capacity of 105.
Do any of them have children? Like babies?
I have no
that
idea.
stayed the year
No
with them?
idea. I don't know. But a weird thing is from 1970 to 2011, the prison population in Ireland increased by 400%.
What?
Isn't that mental?
That's insane. Just crime shot up.
Yeah. Oh, a kind of a sad statistic actually is the majority of Irish prisoners, right, have never sat a state exam.
Oh,
And
that's
half,
really sad.
excuse me, half of them have left school before the age of 15.
That's awful. Do you know in primary school we were going to? I think we went on a school trip to maybe the Cork jail, and they have a section there. They have a debtors prison that they used to have where you'd get put if you owed people money and you were put in there and you were actually treated quite well and you were given solid meals and stuff like that. And then they had the other prison section which was awful. And I put up my hand when we were on the tour and I asked, did anyone ever intentionally try and get into debt so that they get into debtor's prison because it was a better lifestyle? And my teacher said, that's a stupid question. And the person who was giving the tour said, oh no, that actually happened quite a lot. And the teacher went bright red.
Well, that's actually strange because in this women's prison, a lot of people, the reason that it's overcrowded as well is that they find it hard to release women from this prison because they've nowhere to go. So they actually want to stay in the prison. And one woman was arrested because she was trying to climb back into the prison. Isn't that pretty sad?
That's really awful.
All right, so scene 2.
We're only on scene 2.
I know, yeah. So go on, fire away there.
Okay, outside, Huey and Jackie leave the house. Huey runs into Bob.
You still have to be comprehensive when you're...
Okay, yeah. Asks them how Renee is feeling. He says she's still on the boil. Bob and Huey decide that they want to fix everything. Scene 3, we're in Deco's house. Sash and Deco are talking about how the baby's sleeping. Kerry Ann comes in and confronts Deco about the news that Aoife told her that he won't be bringing the baby to her every day. Totally unfeasible that he ever could anyway. So next,
Deco's mad, isn't he? He's pretty mad, and he says, I'm going to kill Charlotte. And to be honest, that's not something to be taken lightly in Carrickstone.
No, that's pretty true. People drop like flies. Scene 4, we're in Carol's house. Carol comes in and Robbie asks her if she wants a coffee. Robbie offers that Deegan moves in. Steve. And he moves into Deegan's place as a joke.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
I actually like Robbie, and I don't know his background, so he could be a murderer or anything.
With his slicked back hair, but I quite like him. Carol is still pushing him out. Carol pushes his buttons about Aoife and says, oh, were the two of you hanging out, were you? And Robbie said, oh, it's nothing. We were just, meeting up, chatting about old times. Don't know what their relationship is, but they probably had an affair or something. And then Carol says, I can be civil for a week at most, and then you're out. Because Robbie had accused her of not being able to be civil. Scene 5, we're in Vino's. Pete asks Dolores if she wants to go on a little holiday. Wayne and Orla both say it's a good idea. They want her to get her mind off of the Kerry Ann situation. Dolores says that she won't leave when Kerry Ann is in such a hard space.
All right. Go on,
wait.
how many scenes have you read now? I nearly fell asleep.
Okay, yeah.
What's after happening?
What?
What happened? I completely zoned out.
I have to go back.
So
everything. Okay.
Scene 16, right?
Yeah.
We're nearly done.
Yeah,
scene 16, we're nearly done. Renee tries to apologise to Jackie with the big setup from the two lads, the two husbands, or nearly husbands, and they all make up. Isn't that great? And then Renee, in turn, asks Jackie, you know what, since we're good buds now, will you be my wedding planner? And the two lads look like they're having a heart attack. And I think the main message that they're having here, these two lads, trying to stop these women fighting. And the joke is, God, when will women stop fighting?
Yeah.
Isn't that basically the whole thing behind it?
And let's be fair, it's pretty true. But we're in scene 13.
See, that kind of took away there now from my one and added in a bit of spice into it that I didn't want in it.
Oh, I was just assuming that's what you thought.
No, you put in a bit of Roger spice there and changed the meaning of my little joke.
But I thought you meant that.
Can you stop throwing spice into my lovely dinners that I'm serving up?
Spitting again. Aoife is in the dolphin pod. There's another Aoife and Dolores
Accidental
conversation.
sexual podcast.
There's another Aoife. Hey, there's another Aoife Dolores section here where Dolores is shouting at Aoife through a wall, and
She sounds like she's in a bin.
yeah, I know she does, but with the lid on, and Dolores
It smells so bad.
Have
you ever gone into a bin? Have you ever gone into a wheelie bin?
Oh yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Can you remember when?
I would have done it probably to jump out of my brother or something.
We blew up a bin before.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you just fill it with like fireworks, or what do you do?
We made homemade, do you know cap guns?
Yeah.
We basically, if you tighten them as much as possible, around themselves, and then you just have an elastic band fuse going into the middle of them, and then you can basically make them into like packages, and you tighten them into rows, and then you get duct tape, and you tighten that around that, and then you light the fuse, put it into the bin, and it fucking blows to bits.
You probably shouldn't say that on a You just advise people how to make a little incendiary weapon.
So?
Okay.
They stop selling it in shops.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
Do you ever read the Anarchist Cookbook?
Yeah, I have read bits of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that shows you how to make like napalm and everything in it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
We tried to make napalm once actually.
Oh, brilliant. So when I talk about terrorist events,
you identified
a target.
very delicate target that should not be joked about.
Yeah.
For our own travelling purposes. No, we made napalm before, and we made it on top of a treehouse. And how do I describe this without describing what it is? It's like a fire.
Were you 10?
I probably was actually. No, I was a bit older.
It wasn't on your friend's 10th birthday.
What? What are you flaming talking about?
And you told me as well that was that the Vietnamese exchange student?
Vietnamese exchange student. Are you linking this to the Vietnam War, which backed the Full Metal Jacket?
I think you.
Are you uncovering tinfoil conspiracies? What me?
I think you napalmed your Vietnamese neighbour.
He wasn't Vietnamese. I actually thought that you were telling me that a Vietnamese neighbour had taught me how to make napalm.
No, that would be ridiculous.
No, I just used Agent Orange on his garden. That was it.
Can I just get to a quote here?
Go on.
Brilliant quote.
Wait, I wanted to explain why the napalm thing. Right?
Go on.
We made it, and it's just a like a hot sludge is basically what it is. And it's very easy to make, or this homemade version of it. Don't know what we were going to do with it or whatever. Like
you sold it to the US Army, didn't you?
Burned down a neighbour's house or something during the birthday. I couldn't tell you, right? But on top of a tree house, and my friend Brendan, he goes step back there, like because you could get burned or whatever. Step back, and I said yeah, and he goes no, step back further, like you could get burned, like. And I was crouched down, we're all kind of squatted down. And I took another step back, and there was no floor anymore. And I fell off the treehouse onto a barrel that had a concrete brick laying on it.
Oh,
absolutely mangled, like as in it should have just shattered my spine. And the two lads are up in the treehouse making napalm, and they are bursting their holes laughing at me. Mangled, but good fun.
Lovely guys. Well, it's a bit like what Dolores does here with Aoife, because she shouts in at her. She says, "I don't know why you're here. It's not going to help you. It's not going to make you better." And Aoife says, "How could I ever be happy again?" And then Dolores says, "That's what I'm saying. Go home."
Go home. It's such bad advice to someone who's having like horrendous mental health problems as well. We just leave here.
Yeah.
Go home.
You just go home. It's like when people tell people to go for a run. That'll make you feel less depressed.
Scene.
Well, actually, chemically does.
Yeah, it definitely does. Exercising is good for your mental health.
No, it definitely is. But I'm saying like if somebody has a chemical imbalance, go to the doctor.
Scene, you're just giving them Dolores' voice. Just go away from us, like.
Go home. Scene 18.
If anyone has any mental health problems, contact your GP.
Last scene, come on, go to the last scene.
Scene 19. We're in McCoy's, and we've got Cahill, the crime man, and we've got Aidan, the crime man, and we've got Stephen, the guard. And John, the guard, is in there as well. And what better place to have a big secret crime meeting to meet the crime boss than in McCoy's?
Yeah.
And the new crime boss comes in, and he's basically a rip-off of Aidan Gillen's character in Love Hate.
Is that what they're going for?
He even talks like him, yeah.
Because I thought they were playing it up as if we were supposed to know who he was.
Oh, they could have.
But no one seems to know who he is.
No, he is from. There is a reference in one of the episodes where he says that he knows Carol, because her son was Larkin, who was involved in criminal activity, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And so it did know him, but no, he like talks like Aidan Gillen. Did you see what he did? Did you see the thing that he did?
Where he didn't down an orange juice, a glass of orange juice?
No, it's another Star Wars thing.
What did he do?
I actually can't believe that I haven't connected this thing.
To Star
never
Wars.
tell me the odds. But so we have the what's the line again? I have a bad feeling about this. That appeared in an episode, and then in this episode, he comes down and he says, "Oh, I hear you want to talk to the crime boss." He says to Steve, and then he does the Jedi wave. See that?
Oh yeah, he does.
He does the Jedi wave with the fingers, like, and And then he goes, okay, you can talk to him. And he sits down.
Yeah.
Mad. What are they doing
Very
in Fair City?
strange.
They're losing their minds. Unbelievable. That's the end of episode 3, and we had to skip about 20 scenes in that because we would go on for about 3 hours otherwise. So, how are you feeling after that one? Feeling better?
I am drained.
I'm going to say I'm feeling pretty rocky now.
I will say that took all the goodwill from the previous episode and it stamped on it.
Put it in a bin with Dolores.
It killed it on top of Karen's grave.
I am starting to feel the old podcast delirium setting in.
Do
So
you
like
think
even when you were reading out that stuff there for like a lengthy,
you're losing concentration?
I didn't know what was happening.
Do you think that it's because we've slightly changed our...
Don't you dare tell them about where we are.
I won't tell them so, but
We're in a shipping container.
we're in a confined space. We're actually recording from the actual shipping container that Katie was kept in.
For a year.
Yeah, and we're here for a year now. We've got the lease.
We're actually in here for a year.
Yeah. Because a lot of people are saying that there's no good flats or homes.
Roger insisted on getting tinned foods, but I spent all the money on Rustler burgers, so
but here's
it's
the thing,
going
lads.
to get a bit hairy after a while.
Yeah, but here's the thing: no electricity in the shipping container.
Yeah.
So what are we're not going to cook them in a microwave.
38% left on my laptop. No, I've actually put my Rustler under my laptop, and it's been heating.
Really?
Yeah. So at least I'll have a hot top half.
Hot top
Which is what I look for in a woman.
That's awful.
Okay, who's your favourite character in that episode? Oh, is he a new
Steve.
character? Windy.
Steve. No, Huey.
Oh, fuck. I was like, who's Steve? Didn't even know who he was.
And you said F as well.
I said F. Oh, what the F? Which is from a brilliant sketch
Are you
about the
freaking killing
magician.
me?
What's that guy's
What
name?
the F?
Oh,
Yeah,
God, I love that. One of like the original YouTube videos.
You
Go
told
on,
me
put some-
David Blaine.
David Blaine.
No, David Blaine.
Look up David Blaine, what the F on YouTube. It's fantastic. All right, so obviously feel a lot worse after that episode.
Yeah.
What's the title of that episode?
I actually can barely remember anything that happened to it. I'd say you want to talk to the crime boss? You can talk to him.
That's woeful compared to
last scene.
the last ones you've had.
Yeah, the episode's kind of... Oh, no. It's how could I ever be happy again? That's what I'm saying. Go home.
Fantastic. Except we are going to have...
No!
No, you have another one?
I have another one, which is when
Snappy, no, a snappy one.
Okay, when Cahill and Steve, we skipped this scene, but they were talking about how much money Steve would get paid for leaking information to the
crime gang.
to the crime gang, and when Cahill tells them that they'll give him $1,000, which even I thought seemed pretty contained. Like Steve said, if he's offering $1,000, he needs to go off to crim school again. So it's go off to crim school again.
Is crim school?
That's what he says. He does.
What's
say.
crim? Is crim crime?
Crim is like short for criminal.
Oh, cool. You know all crim.
And all crim, yeah.
What does crimbo mean then? Crime Christmas.
It's when they let the people come in to Mountjoy at Christmas time.
What do you call Christmas?
I just call it Christmas or the birth of Christ.
The birth of Christ. Do you celebrate the birth of Christ on Christmas Day?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, how do you do that?
What I do is we make an effigy of Mary, and I crawl through it as the youngest in the family.
I
crawl through her birthing canal.
Ah, Roger, you are fine up to that, like.
And then
No,
she breaks
stop.
open and she's full of chocolates like a piñata.
Oh my God. Do you realise what you're saying, like? All right,
Go on.
get on your bike, fly on your
Entertainment.
religious idol up to entertainment.ie.
Entertainment.ie. This is what they say.
Episode 4, broadcast on 13th September.
Yates' behaviour raises Robbie's suspicion while Carol is uneasy with a figure from her past. Also tonight, Kerry-Ann makes a drastic decision and Bob inadvertently stokes Renee's jealousy.
Scene 1, it's Renee and the gang again, and Renee doesn't want Jackie to be the wedding planner, and Jackie doesn't want to be the wedding planner, but they can't say it to each other.
Typical, isn't
What
it?
a comedy of errors.
Bunch of...
Scene
idiots.
2, Roger, scene 2.
You won't believe this though, that in that last scene, I've the note, and I can tell you that I did watch this at 1:30 in the morning.
As you usually do.
I had the note for that one, quite an inventive plot.
Oh no, Roger, oh no.
I don't think that now I'm
You
awake.
lost it. You were just spitting all over the place. You know, that was like pre-crime as well when you said you were giving out to me about spitting
Yeah.
before you actually started spitting all over the place.
Come on now, scene 2.
Scene
go
2,
on.
we're in Carol's house, and set the scene here. There's a cool dinosaur in the fridge. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
There's a drawing of a dinosaur, but they make it look like it's meant to be a kid's drawing of a dinosaur, but it's actually too good to be a kid's drawing of a dinosaur. So I think that's pretty cool. How do you get that job, though, in Fair City? You know, like, as in, hey, can anyone draw a dinosaur? And and they hire someone.
How great would it have been if they did a close-up on it and Robbie asked Carol, what do you think of my dinosaur? How great would that have been?
How great would it be if random things just happened? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, Steve comes down the stairs after himself and Carol riding for the night, and her ex-boyfriend is there drinking coffee in the kitchen where he's also staying. And scene 3, we're in the unnamed supermarket.
Yep.
Carrie Ann is going to do a runner, right? This is a big one. Going to do a runner with the baby, and he asks Cahill, the bad guy, to get her 2 passports.
Do you remember how much the passports cost?
$2,000.
$2,000, so $1,000 each.
Yeah.
Which is the same going rate for leaking information from the police.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you could leak a piece of information to Cahill from the police in exchange for a passport, if that exchange rate matches up.
Probably would, yeah, bartering. Also, he says, or Carrie Ann goes, look, don't say this to Deco if you wouldn't mind, that I'm going to flee the country with his child.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if Cahill did say that, he'd be a pretty bad criminal.
Yep, one of the worst. He'd want to go back to crim school, wouldn't he?
Scene 4, Bob and Huey. Lads discussing the mess they're in with the old wives. Stupid wives.
Mm-hmm.
And they get Renee, or they're trying to get Renee to unask Jackie to be the wedding planner.
Yeah, simple enough.
Did you notice in this scene that there is intense hammering going on in the background?
No.
Oh, it's like, I don't know. It's like a giant hammer is hammering in a building into the ground. No, it's in like much, much louder. Like as in, you know, one of those hammers. You ever see how they get telephone poles into the ground?
No.
Well, I don't know if this is the way to do it for all of them, but it's like it's a huge, like basically hammering system. It's like a crane.
Yeah.
And then they just hammer that into place. But this is what this sounded like. It was just like bong, bong, and the 2 actors are trying to ignore it, but it's incredibly loud. Good that you didn't even notice that massive sound in the scene, though.
But keep in mind, I did watch this at 1:30 in the morning.
Do you eat it with any treats in the morning to kind of get you through it?
To get me through when I wake up the next day, or do I eat stuff while watching Fair City? During.
Yeah.
No.
What would be your choice of midnight snack?
Oh, midnight snack. Toast.
Toast.
Oh my god. Toast or a bowl of cereal. And do you know what my favourite cereal is? It's fruit ampersand fibre.
Of course it is.
The Tesco version of fruit
in
a
yeah, because you couldn't possibly get the popular brand. You know,
no,
get the off.
But it is actually better.
But if more people started eating that, then would you go on to some other weird thing? Then start eating dust?
No, I'd go between that. I'd alternate between that, their shredded pillows, and their bran and fruit.
Did you ever eat a dog biscuit?
I think I did once when I was younger.
It's disgusting, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, did I tell you that when my girlfriend once ate, I shouldn't be saying this probably, but she once ate tinned cat food when she was about 14 to give it a go. And I asked her what it tasted like, and she said very ashy. And then she said that after she thought that, she looked at the back, and it said 84% reconstituted ash.
I had a dog over here for the weekend, and first thing he did when he was out on the balcony was he ate a fag. And he got sick, and I was like, that's what happens, like. And then later on, he was out there again, licking ash.
That's when you decided you wouldn't have kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
What if they ate a bloody fag?
You know when people say that they can't have kids, you know, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
I say that, I can't have kids.
You say it like
I can, but I just can't have them.
Not to, yeah.
Alright, so scene 6.
Okay.
Orla and Wayne are all loved up again.
Yeah.
That's scene 6. Scene 7, we're in the Bishops. The doorbell goes. I almost instantly get a headache when the doorbell goes in Fair City, because I'm like, someone is going to just bust the door down now and start roaring.
Somebody's going to ruin our day. But this time, do you know who it is?
It's Dolores.
It's Dolores, and Dolores is chatting to Carrie Ann, asking her how she's getting on. And Carrie Ann says, you know the way you mentioned before, Dolores, you'd like to help me out in any way possible. And Dolores said, yeah. And she said, you offered to pay for my lawyer. And Dolores says, yeah. Carrie Ann says, I need $2,000 to get a lawyer.
For one solicitor, please.
Yeah.
One solicitor, please.
One solicitor, please. I'm buying one.
It's a vending machine. Just put in $2,000.
And Dolores goes, yeah, grand, no worries, yeah.
I was actually once buying a solicitor and it got stuck coming out of the vending machine.
Oh, and
then happened to you?
Yeah, and then what's happened to me is that I've seen somebody else later in the day try to get another solicitor from that slot to get the two solicitors fall in.
There's 3 solicitors backed up.
Yeah, but it's not going to fall. Like,
no. They still make the money though.
They do, yeah.
Scene 8, Bob, Renee, Jackie. Bob reveals in this scene that himself and Jackie went out together.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see them together, but I like Huey.
I actually Google imaged it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't. I took it as not being Fair City canon, but was it?
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
How far? Wait a minute. Didn't you say you don't look at things from Fair City in the past to confirm yokes? Didn't you say that at the start of this podcast? Didn't you make a solemn promise
to us and all
the
do.
listeners?
Sometimes no, not the listeners.
Anyway, How long ago was it?
I couldn't really judge. Actually, that's the interesting thing. Is that when I looked at it, if I was to guess, I'd say 10 years ago. But the funny thing about it is that looking at the images, looks as if it could be from an episode from last week.
Really?
Yeah, like nothing has changed.
Scene 9, we're in the station. Cathal, Robbie, Steve, Carol, and the extra bad guy are there. And
Ian is his name.
The extra bad guy, Ian, he basically comes on to Carol, says that she was the hottest mother when he was hanging around with her son. And Carol is not impressed, but secretly probably impressed. And,
you think so, yeah?
Yep. And, Carol just decimates Steve's mental health again.
Yeah.
Because that's the way their relationship work. And then, do you think there are any healthy relationships in Carrickstone at the moment? Is anyone in a healthy relationship where they're not fighting every 5 minutes?
Huey and Jackie.
Huey and Jackie?
Huey and Jackie.
But
and Pete and Dolores.
Pete and Dolores? No.
No,
but
you
Huey and
think
Jackie,
so?
I think, is a good one. Yeah. But so I looked up the definition of a relationship. It is a noun. A relationship is also a relationship is a close romantic friendship between two people. Right? In this context, I think that's the best definition.
Yeah.
And then I looked up the definition of a relationship on Fair City, and it's two people bullying each other until the other person dies.
Yeah, and we know that in reality, it's halfway between both of those, isn't it?
Yep.
So,
has been in your case. Scene 10, it's the station. It's Robbie, Carol, Ian, the super bad guy, and Steve. And Robbie says, I am falling apart. Like, yeah. I'm reading this stuff there and I'm like, I don't know. I can't, you know what's after stopping? I'm not imagining it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just the words as they are.
Here, we're going to skip that scene because it's too bad. But
no, we have to do one thing in it.
But wait,
Steve goes up and says to the crime boss, "You like playing games, do you?" And the crime boss goes, "Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, Tour of Duty. They got the game wrong."
Oh, what? They didn't.
No, I'm thinking though. Is Grand Theft Auto like? Is that the official name for it? Are they avoiding calling the name? Like, would they have to say Grand Theft Auto, 5 or Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? Is that how they're getting away with it? And they say Tour of Duty.
That could be it.
To avoid some sort of licensing thing.
Because I would assume you probably can't trademark Grand Theft Auto because it's just... like, you could trademark its use in the term for a video game. But I imagine it would be very hard to be caught for that. But I think you're probably onto something there that's too cheap.
Let's skip on to scene 12. It's a momentous occasion in Fair City. A momentous occasion. What time is Fair City on? Is it before 9 o'clock? Is it before the...
Yeah.
That's the watershed, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a swear word in this.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice this at all, so go on and tell me what's going on.
It's Oisin and Charlotte are talking first, and we're talking absolute crap.
When you saw Oisin come back, did you think, oh, God...
Where was he anyway? Why wasn't he around?
I don't know, but... Okay, go
on. Charlotte goes up and says, "Hey, Aoife, I revealed all that stuff to Carrie-Anne about Deco not visiting, or Carrie-Anne, sorry.
Aoife says to Charlotte.
Aoife says to Charlotte that she said all this stuff to Carrie-Anne, and Charlotte confirms that Carrie-Anne went completely mental, right? And then Aoife says, "Life's a bitch sometimes, huh?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she says that in it.
Yeah.
And I try to clean up this podcast then, and then Fair City, but this is why I think they're listening to us, man.
Drops the B word.
They're listening to us.
They dropped it. And you'll know that I don't say the B word. I say she was a BITC, fill in the rest of
Love the B word. You called Renee about 15 million B words in the first 3 episodes.
I doubt that. But I don't think Renee is one of those.
As Shane Clifford, another great comedian, and when I say another one, it's in reference to other ones, not us.
No, it was in reference to us.
No, I really didn't mean that. I meant it in terms of I'd all previously mentioned Brian Gallagher.
Right.
But Shane Clifford said to me before, when we walked away from a car that I was driving, and we were going into a gig, and I goes, "Oh no, I don't think I locked the car." And he said to me, "I probably won't get robbed," which is doesn't there's no bearing on my decision to go back to the car.
It, doesn't it?
It's like, it probably won't.
Here, there is something I have to notice here where.
Something you have to notice.
Oh yeah, I'm dying.
Have you started to notice it?
Wow, Oisin says something so funny to Charlotte here, right? He's having a chat with her about Sam.
Sorry, when you do that, you sound like a dinosaur in like a 90s.
Like Walking with Dinosaurs or a cartoon.
No, like the dinosaur like sitcom. Do you remember that?
Oh, in Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You mean You
sound like the baby.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, I did. Do you know the final episode ends? Do you know how that ends?
No, I've never seen it. I've seen it, but I've never continually watched
Because Jim Henson created that show.
Oh, I didn't know
The Muppets. And the idea behind it was he wanted to have an ecological message. He actually wanted it to be a secular TV show to teach people kind of secular, right-minded, climate correct thoughts about things. Like
when you say right-minded, do you mean that in terms of correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry, no, not right-wing. But the final episode ends by everyone being told that they need to stop basically polluting stuff, or there's going to be a big change in climate, and nobody listens, and they believe it's a bunch of nonsense. And the very final scene is all the family sitting in front of the TV as the announcer solemnly, the TV announcer says that there's unprecedented weather and that they're expecting a snowstorm that will last for hundreds of years.
Cool.
And it ends with the ice age that was caused.
And did they let them broadcast that?
Yeah.
That was like something they'd usually like cut off.
No, it's
That's
unbelievable.
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry. The scene here that Charlotte and Oisin are chatting.
Oh my God!
I know.
I just remember doing a podcast about First Aid.
But where it would be better to die in an ice age, wouldn't it? But Oisin.
This is like slowly dying in an ice age, though.
Yeah, it's like purgatory, like Lost, like we mentioned earlier. So Charlotte is chatting to Oisin about the whole Sam and Deco taking Sam to visit Kerry Ann thing. And Oisin goes...
Very well put.
Yeah. And Oisin... Listen, if you got in this...
And you know what? I wonder then why people can't follow the episodes.
Ah, come on. Oisin says to Charlotte, well, I don't even think... what's her name? And Charlotte says, her name's Sam. So Oisin, the character himself, couldn't remember the name of Sam. And he goes, yeah, Sam. He goes,
and he's in the show, like...
Yeah. And he says, oh, Sam won't even know who her mom is, like... You can just keep it secret that her mom was a murderer and just never show her. And Charlotte says, no, she'd find out through social media. And Oisin says, well, that's the perfect thing. Just tell her it's fake news.
I just had to scan through the rest of my notes there for scenes.
Not many.
Not a lot of meat left in my descriptions, I'll put it that way.
It always happens to you. These descriptions were done at 1:30 in the morning. Do you want to trust them?
Look, Roger, right, they couldn't possibly all have been done at 1:30 in the morning, because it's been 1:30 now since season 1.
Okay, in that
case,
these were done at even later.
Even later.
Do you want me to just flake on with a few scenes, so?
Do you have anything that's, like, in any way interesting coming up in the next...
Kerry Ann asks Will to be the godfather of Sam. That's a bit interesting.
You know that senator that got whose niece was murdered on the beach?
Only from you, yeah.
Abraham Ribicoff, only from you. That sounds like a petty argument. Just because you won't stop mentioning him. He was involved in getting the road safety message out there in America and bringing in all the rules on seatbelts and stuff like that.
Really?
And the motor industry over there, I think, fought seatbelts for something like 20 years.
That's unbelievable.
To not get them in.
But they got them in the end, didn't they?
They did indeed.
And they've killed more people than they've saved. That's the line from The Simpsons.
Oh, I thought her friendship, everything else was completely over. I was like, oh no, he started listening to Alex Jones again. All right,
scene 15. We're in Deco's home. Kerry Ann comes home to chat to Dolores about. She says the lawyer now needs $3,000 because Cahill has put up the price again. And I'm beginning
vending machine. Every time I go to it, it goes up in price.
And I'm beginning to see here how Dolores got swindled out of money by Wayne, a man who can't even run a garage. Scene 16, we're in McCoy's. Steve and Carol come in, almost leave because they see Cahill and the new crime lord Ian there. I said that I kind of don't know if I trust Steve anymore, but it is at 10 to 2 in the morning, and I am very tired. So who knows?
Steve the guard.
Yeah.
I like the way you changed your times there. That was half one.
But fine. Deco is in there. Sash and Charlotte arrive in.
In where?
In McCoy's.
In your house.
Do you listen, right? They're in McCoy's. Do you listen? They're in McCoy's.
You go very aristocratic when you're mad.
Deco insists
that
Charlotte buys them all pints. And
it'd be funny if she said pies.
Pies. And then Charlotte.
You know what the Irish for pie is? It's my favourite Irish word.
Go on.
Peog.
Peog.
Yeah.
I doubt that. Is that right?
I doubt that. This is Shane and the car
again. I
doubt
that very much.
I doubt that.
So
can I curse for one thing? Have you ever seen the video of the lads inside the Shannon and your man gets all flustered by another senator and he says Fuck you, Deputy Stag.
Yes.
It's so good. Look up that video if you haven't.
Oh my god.
Scene 19, we're in McCoy's. It's John the Guard. And what is happening a lot in this episode is they're just reiterating storylines from previous episodes. And he says, Steve, I think that Ian, lad, I think he's the crime boss. And Steve goes, shut up, silly John the Guard.
Yeah.
That's that. Scene 20, we're in the Bishop's house again, which you call?
Deco's house.
Very good. And Roger is now nearly after sliding under the table. He's so slumped. It's all slumpy, we call him. Scene 20. We're on the last scene. Yeah?
Yeah.
So Carrie Ann wanted passports for her kid so you can make a getaway. But now Cahill is feeling the pinch because it's suggested in one of these scenes that Ian, the big crime boss, Ian says, we should murder Steve, the guard. And he says, I might get you to do it, Cahill. And he goes away and laughs.
Yeah.
So now Cahill wants to flee the country as well. And he says, Carrie Ann, I'll give you the passports, but we're going to flee as a family.
Yeah.
And Carrie Ann is like, okay. Oh my God, I'm tired. That is the end of all the episodes this week. Very, very, very good. Would you say very good?
Do you know what's so ridiculous, right?
All of this?
When we started...
Doing 10 weeks of this. That's
No,
ridiculous.
well, yeah, but when we started talking about this, we were saying how up we were feeling this week.
Oh yeah, but then it just hits you like a truck because you're just, the scenes are the same, the characters are the same. Of all the characters that I want to leave, can the bishops all go on holidays?
Yeah. This is 19 minutes. We covered that in
Very good.
Like that one episode was a ray of hope, and the rest was just.
But why was it a ray of hope? Wayne's Wheels, Wayne's World. He's the best.
Pete's.
We're actually in honour of Wayne, right? Who goes for a game of pool when he's having trouble with the missus.
This is true.
We're
yeah.
all going for a game of pool Saturday.
Yeah.
Game of pool.
Gonna have a good old time.
My dad used to play me in table tennis and pool, and he's ambidextrous, and he used to play using both hands, and then what are you laughing at?
No,
And then he beat me anyway.
Yeah, he decimated you.
So
that's like
when we're playing pool Saturday and I lose, I may get a bit frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like what Ronnie O'Sullivan used to do with Elaine Rabadou when.
This is like your favourite story.
I love
it too.
I love it. Yeah, he in the final of I think just the World Snooker Championship. He
World Snooker Ball, I think is the
World
official.
the Snooker Bowl. Yeah.
Man, it's just something I love doing. Sitting down with a packet of crisps, 6 cans, watching the snooker ball.
Are you going to a snooker ball party actually? Here's the awkward thing with the snooker ball party. It's on 6 p.m. in the day.
Oh no, time is becoming funny.
Oh no. Yeah. That was supposed to be about how Super Bowl parties take place in the middle of the night here. But when playing Elaine Rabadou, he swapped to his weak hand. And because Ronnie O'Sullivan is also ambidextrous, and he decimated him using his wrong hand. And Elaine Rabadou was so furious, he just threw down his snooker cue at the end. And
sometimes they call that a pool dick.
A pool dick. He threw down his pool dick, and that's what they also call those big foam things you use.
Fuck shit.
Hey, that's those big foam rods that you swing around in pools. You know those?
Yeah.
The pool dicks.
No, they call them dick floats.
Dick floats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the all the lingo wrong. It's changed since my day.
Have you ever gone to a swimming class and then your man announces, "Everyone, have you got your dick float?
Have you got your pool dick?" Anyway, Elaine Rabadou was snappy.
Have you ever been in a pool and someone's taking a shit in the pool? I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on.
And the trouble I got in. And so I did that, and I went across, and then you just hear this guy laughing, and he just goes, "Eat shit!"